The Trump DOJ has secured the conviction of many prominent Antifa individuals, including a described Antifa leader who has been sentenced to 100 years in prison. Now, a bunch of these guys got crazy multi-decade-long prison sentences over the attack on the ICE facility in Texas, in which a cop was shot in the neck. And you're going to love this part. I ask you all, send me your comments as we begin this show. What do you think? What do you think the leftist press wrote about this? How do you think they described it? How about instead of terrorists, they said protesters? That's right. Protesters who are completely uninvolved. They had no idea what was going on when they launched fireworks outside of the facility where a sniper lied in wait. And then they shot at these ICE agents and shot a police officer in the neck. That was just a whoopsie daisy. They had no idea what was going to happen. Yeah, spare me. The Trump DOJ is actually making some moves. I'm happy to see it. It's a good thing, and we're glad we're getting some accountability. Now, moving forward, we'll need more than just the convictions of some wackaloon losers. It is good it's happening, because we complained quite a bit about leftist terror for so long. We're actually getting these convictions. But what about the higher level stuff? We need some more higher level stuff. Well, unfortunately, right now, there's a judge whose name is like Sparkle Sukananan, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. Everybody's saying, why is Judge Sparkle? Whatever. This judge ruled that Donald Trump, this is amazing, it's really amazing, cannot use federal databases to determine whether or not an individual is a citizen on a voter roll because it might disenfranchise people in the future, which, judges aren't really supposed to do. They're supposed to provide relief to the individuals who have filed suit and not relief to potential future harms, which can't be predicted. But that's basically what the judge is saying. Because some people were wrongly purged, the risk of everyone else getting purged, she's shutting down the whole thing, which I don't think flies. But the big Supreme Court rulings hopefully will come down Thursday. They didn't come down today. We got some. But we didn't get the mail-in voting ruling. So the next expectation is perhaps Thursday, we hope, but who knows? So we'll talk about that. Then, of course, Gavin Newsom is sinking. Kamala Harris is now the front runner for the Democratic Party. Oh, boy. And then my favorite story, Lizzo, you remember her? Yeah, Lizzo. She released a new album. It sold 2,650 albums. That's it. 2,000. And my immediate reaction is like, it's all USAID. Everything was fake. Everything you thought was popular. I'm kidding. But we're seeing who was it? Katy Perry, I think. I don't know. She was struggling to sell tickets to a tour. A bunch of music tours are shutting down. How much of this was all just fake, propped up economics, not real? That's the big question. So we will get into that. Before we do, we got a great sponsor for you guys. It is Gaia.com. Gaia is a streaming platform dedicated to exploring consciousness, disclosure, ancient wisdom, and the deeper nature of reality. Rather than treating disclosure as a single event or official announcement, Gaia examines a broader perspective, one that asks whether disclosure is also connected to human awareness, perception, and consciousness itself. Through documentaries, interviews, and original series, Gaia explores questions surrounding extraterrestrial contact, hidden history, unexplained phenomena, and humanity's place in a much larger reality. Their content investigates the idea that disclosure may involve more than government documents or public confirmation, and may also involve expanding how people think about themselves, each other, and the universe around them. For those interested in the future of disclosure, consciousness studies, ancient civilizations, and the mysteries of reality, Gaia offers a unique library of content designed to challenge assumptions and encourage deeper exploration. Visit Gaia.com, that's Gaia.com, to learn more about disclosure through the lens of consciousness and discover why so many people are exploring these ideas as humanity enters its next chapter. I'm a big fan. I love this guy's stuff, guys. The way I describe it is like if DMT were a streaming platform, this is the streaming platform for you. With all due respect to Gaia, the script is a little too straightforward for my tastes. Tell me that you've got a massive library of aliens, crazy conspiracies, ancient civilizations, lost technology, the secrets of the hollow earth and artificial intelligence. And I'm watching these things 24/7. So shout out to Gaia. You guys rock. We're big fans here at Timcast. Check them out. And don't forget to head over to timcast.com. Click join us to get involved. Be the change you want to see in the world. Support the work we do here every single day by becoming a member at timcast.com. And we will provide for you something even better. Community. Now, you guys built the community, but as a member supporting our work, we maintain this Discord server where you guys can hang out with tens of thousands of individuals. And we've got some big events coming up. We've got the opening of the coffee shop coming up. We're going to see you guys there. We're planning for this at maybe mid-July when we come down and hang out with everybody. So join us at timcast.com. Get in the Discord server. You can even call into this show Monday through Thursday at 10 p.m. in the uncensored portion on Rumble. Don't miss it. Don't forget to also smash that like button right now. Share the show. Subscribe to this channel. Joining us tonight to talk about this and everything else is Amber Duke.
Hey, y'all. I'm Amber Duke. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Daily Caller. You can subscribe to my newsletter, Unfit to Print, Tuesday through Thursdays. It's unfittoprint.dailycaller.com. And I'm also the co-host of Free Media at Reason Magazine.
And the boys are hanging out.
Hey, everybody. Good to be here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Phil. I'm the singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. What's up, Carter?
What's up, everyone? Speaking of the Discord, I previewed a music video for only the Discord today, around like 6:30-ish, and you can check that out. It's not going live till 11, but yeah, I'm hanging out. And
you're selling singles, right?
I am selling
We
singles.
got to beat Lizzo.
So up here in my right-hand corner, there's a QR code for the song if you buy it on iTunes. If 2,700 of you buy it on iTunes, we beat Lizzo.
You beat Lizzo. I have a quick question for Ian. You're wearing like a leather duster and a cowboy hat, and I kind of feel like that's stolen valor.
Yeah, that might be true.
Yeah,
From all the cowboys.
Yeah, you're not a cowboy.
I've never ridden I rode a horse once.
I've not once.
I'm going equestrian, though. I guess I can reveal it now. I'm going to start riding horses. Lisa Reynolds actually offered to take me out horseback riding someday.
You are going to get messed up.
Call her up on that.
You're going to be bouncing up and down.
Yeah, you got to start slow. You ever ride mechanical bulls? That's pretty fun.
No, but I've ridden horses.
Really got to lean into it, man.
If you get thrown off, it hurts.
You have to become one with the horse.
Yeah,
you have to connect your hair to the horse's hair and then feel that bond.
That would be an interesting Gaia documentary to see how the human bonds with the horse, because I hear their hearts start to beat in synchronicity.
I kind of don't think that's true. I mean, that sounds weird.
No, this ain't stolen valor. Cowboy Ian Crossland coming at you.
All right, here's the story from the Post-Millennial. Breaking: Antifa leader Benjamin Song sentenced to 100 years for Texas anti-ICE terror attack. 7 other militants also sentenced. I got this tweet here from Phoenix. It says, today is not a good day to be Antifa. Benjamin Song, 100 years. Maricela Rueda, 70. Cameron Arnold, 50. Savannah Batten, 50. Zachary Yvette's 50. Bradford Morris, 50 years. Elizabeth Soto, 50 years. Daniel Rolando Sanchez Estrada, 30 years. Fafo. Indeed, I say Fafo. But you know, I kind of feel like our brains have been shocked to the point of numbness and complete desensitization. Maybe a couple of years ago, we would be like popping champagne, celebrating they finally brought these Antifa people to justice, exposing that there's literally leaders in this movement, which we explained all along. But I feel like right now it's big news. I know it's big news, but I don't feel it. There's no like catharsis. You know what I mean? I'm not like, we've done it, we've won. I'm like, oh, okay, good.
I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, it is worth noting that the people that tend to, now I'm not sure about these specific individuals, but the people that tend to do this kind of Antifa stuff, or at least the people that tend to be the thought leaders for Antifa, they're people that are well-connected. They're generally wealthy people. They're generally, come from wealthy families. A lot of this stuff is, fail sons and fail daughters that hate their parents, and they hate the fact that they were born so privileged, and they're trying to cope with the fact that they've got all this privilege and stuff. Now, I don't know about these particular people in question, but it is good to see that the Trump administration is actually prosecuting. It's good to see that the Trump administration is making moves, and I really do hope that there's a lot more coming.
I think the reason why we maybe feel a little black-pilled about this is because there are so many members of Antifa who have assaulted people in trash cities and have gotten away with it, that to finally have 8 is like, okay, we got 0.01% of them, right? I mean, what about the justice for Chaz and Chop in Seattle that led to actual deaths from them blocking ambulances from getting in, shootings going on in there? I mean, this has been going on for over 10 years now, and we're just finally seeing a real prison sentence for a group of people that are involved in this. And the mainstream media coverage of this, by the way, is despicable. They've been describing the quote-unquote protests that these people were involved in as like a noise-making protest or a noise demo. They showed up with rifles, fireworks, explosives, and were shooting at police officers. They shot a cop in the neck, and they're acting like you said, Tim, like this was just a little fun birthday party gone wrong.
So this is the New Republic. NewRepublic.com, they say they're protesters. The DOJ says they're terrorists. Look at this man with his silly sweater and his ankle monitor. The federal government rounded up 18 activists tied to an anti-ICE protest in Texas, claiming they were part of an Antifa cell. The case is the first big test of Trump's crackdown on left-wing groups and free speech. Let me just show you why they're getting rounded up. And I got this Wikipedia for you. So, guys, I do this for you. Please share this with the libs you know, if you know any that are willing. I don't know. The 2025 Prairieland ICE Detention Center incident, alternatively the Alvarado ICE facility incident, occurred at the ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas, on the evening of July 4th, 2025. 11 individuals, some wearing black clothing or body armor, set off fireworks and vandalized parked vehicles and a guard structure outside the center. A person in a nearby wooded area allegedly opened fire with a rifle after local police responded. An Alvarado police officer was shot in the neck and released from the hospital a short time later. 11 individuals were arrested soon afterward. In the following month, the alleged shooter was arrested after a manhunt, and 5 alleged associates were arrested. So, thanks, New Republic. It was a protest, they said. It was just a protest. Now, here's the thing. What these Antifa guys do is they all have plausible deniability. So you'll go to these direct action meetings and they'll say, when we go to the event, when we go to the protest, wear all black, wear a hoodie, wear a black mask so that you are dressed identically to everybody else. Why? If you get arrested, there will always be reasonable doubt. This is the game plan. If somebody launches a Molotov or a stick of dynamite, it blows up, the cops tackle him. Even if the cop watched him throw it, they will testify, we saw that guy throw it. And then the defense comes up and says, what was the suspect wearing? Black hoodie, black mask, sunglasses, black jeans. Indeed. How many other people were wearing that same outfit? And the cop's going to say 200. And the defense is going to look to the jury and say, so don't you think it's possible they grabbed the wrong guy? And this person here is pleading not guilty is innocent? If there is reasonable doubt, you must acquit. That's why they do it. I say lock them all up, charge them with conspiracy. They know exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. They are manipulating the law to their benefit to engage in terror attacks. And I think it's also time that people realize one big important thing here. When the New Republic says they're just protesters who are protesting a noise protest with fireworks, they are basically rubbing it in your face. I know, the right knows, that the left knows what they're doing. We all know leftists are engaged in terrorism to gain political power. They publish these things knowing that we know because they're trying to target doofy individuals who aren't paying attention. But that group, that middle of the road, not really paying attention, doesn't really exist that much these days. Most people are on one side of the issue at this point. So the left playing these lies, I kind of feel like it's pointless right now. The reason why I think, you called it blackpilled. I don't think I'm blackpilled. I'm actually excited. I'm like, hey, look, something's getting done. It's just there was no release. There was no like, yes, pop the champagne. It was like, But I think we're overstimulated to the point where we're just like, we went through years of death, violence, terror, where we were screaming and begging and straining ourselves that now we're just lying back in our lounge chairs like, oh, yeah.
Also, like watching someone get punished isn't necessarily a great feeling. I mean, sometimes there is a catharsis. Sometimes vengeance is, but like most people that you ask,
not vengeance.
Hold on, let me finish. Some people that if you ask throughout time that have like been like wronged and then they lash out, they don't feel better afterwards. They think they might like to kill the killer, but often they just feel like a killer themselves.
I never understood that. I don't believe that.
Well,
this is justice.
It is justice, but at the same time, it's like if your kid punches another kid and you ground your son, you don't have to be happy about it. It's like nothing good came out of it.
I don't know. I'm a guy. You know what I mean? So I'm going to make another point because the next story we're going to cover is that incel shooting in Montreal. And they're saying like he was an incel. We'll get into that. But I always hear this in shows, and I think it's fake. It's propaganda where, like in Spider-Man, for instance, we all saw Spider-Man when all the Spider-Mans came together and did Spider-Man stuff together. And then, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is like, I'm going to kill him. He killed Aunt May. And then Tobey Maguire, like, grabs the thing and is like looking at him like, don't do it. It won't make you feel better. Nah, I don't know. Everybody saw that one dude kill the dude who pedophiled his son. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not advocating for vigilantism. My point is, when there's a reason why people go to view the death penalty being carried out. There's a reason why that family members watch the man who murdered their beloved, someone they cared about, face the death penalty. When they tell you, the revenge won't make you feel better, I say BS. We wouldn't have a system in place for hundreds, if not thousands of years of capital punishment where people beg to witness the hanging at the gallows unless they felt better because of it. You know what I mean?
In the moment, it's kind of like scratching a mosquito bite. It
No,
feels good in the moment.
I disagree.
No, you're like, well, now I'm inflamed.
It's not because
Not every
it's
time.
not about even if people do find a catharsis watching someone that committed a crime get punished. That's not why they get punished. It's not why we have a judicial system. This isn't about vengeance. This is about justice. They actually attacked an ICE facility. They shot an officer in the neck. They were throwing explosives. They were throwing fireworks, which they're explosives. They were doing what they can to try to intimidate people. This is good all the way around because these people now are an example, and the people on the left are like, now they have to acknowledge the fact that it's possible. Because up until this point, it kind of didn't seem possible that people that did this kind of stuff.
Well, there were convictions a few months ago, but this is the heaviest we've seen.
And they should be this heavy. This is right and just.
I think the big problem with when people don't feel catharsis or relief when justice is doled out, it's usually because they haven't forgiven yet. And I think from like a Christian perspective, you can acknowledge that justice is right and good while also personally forgiving someone for a crime that they committed against you or your family. And if you miss that second piece, maybe that's where that lack of like relief comes in.
But so explain that forgiveness. What does that mean? Like, how do you describe it?
How do I describe forgiveness?
Yeah, like in the Christian sense of what does it mean for a person when you ask them to forgive someone who committed a crime against them?
I mean, from the Christian perspective, it basically means that you acknowledge that what they did was wrong, but I hate to use the word forgive in the definition. You forgive them and you recognize that there's still an opportunity for their soul to be saved.
But so I'm trying to understand what it means to forgive somebody. And it's kind of hard with the definition in itself.
I understand that.
As we're so you're giving them a chance to be a neutral and to have like a blank slate in the future.
Yeah, but
it means the conscious, deliberate decision to let go of feelings of resentment, anger, and thoughts of revenge towards someone who has wronged you. So I actually respect that. Some people think forgive means to accept that, like it's almost like apologizing to somebody. Forgiveness to a lot of people means to accept what they did to you and like they can go about their lives. There's no punishment anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's not to say like what you did is okay or that we're going to let you go from your just punishments. But I mean, forgiveness ultimately, I think, is more about for yourself than it is for the other person. I
forgive, what is it? Forgive them for they know not what they do.
Yep.
That's kind of how I look at it with these people. I don't hate, like, let's hear these people, right? I don't hate them. It's like, do I hate the chicken that charges at my foot, pecking at my foot? No, it's a chicken. It's stupid. It's a bird. I lift my foot up and shoo them off. I actually like my chickens. These people, like as human beings, I love human beings. We live for the human experience. These ones are bad ones, like the bad chickens. Do I hate them for what they do? No, not really. I'll complain about it. I'll express my anger when there's no accountability. But the fact is, it doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter if I have anger or resentment or anything. What matters is that bad people go away and can't do bad things anymore. And feeling one way about it doesn't change anything. Like I was talking to my buddy who was upset about like his relationship, and he's like, how do you deal with like when you feel negative things, like you feel bad? And the first thing I just said was, I don't know, I'm a man. And then I was like, you push it way down, you cram it way down, you ignore it. I'm kidding. I said, why would I waste my time sitting around stewing about what these people have done? Now, when they're not going to jail, I will not waste my time. I will sit around stewing, demanding action from authorities to stop them and make sure people can't do it again. For these people who are locked up and in jail, I feel nothing. I don't feel one way or the other. They're gone. They're taken care of. They're going to be in prison for decades, the rest of their lives, most likely. And maybe when homeboy down at the bottom is 80-something years old, 87, he'll get out shaking, unable to walk, and he'll be no threat to anybody. So I don't really think about it, you know?
Yeah, I
They
mean,
are forgiven.
I hate the left-wing approach to justice where they think that it's all meant to be restorative. Like, the only reason that we should put people away is with the hope that they will reform their behavior and be able to come back into society. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
The whole point of justice, in my view, is that, one, you're protecting public safety by keeping them away from further harm to other people. And two, it is actually a form of vengeance in a sense, because you want to send the message to other people that this behavior is not okay and you will face consequences for it.
I see. I agree with both of your points.
I guess punishment's a better term than vengeance.
Yeah. One, it is good to let other people know that you will be held accountable if you do this kind of stuff. So don't do it. And two, it takes them off the streets and out of society. It's not about helping them grow and making and trying to teach them something and blah blah blah. Recidivism in the United States is incredibly high. If you are the kind of person that commits these kind of crimes, if you only go to jail or commits crimes, if you only go to jail for a little while, the vast majority are going to get out and they're going to commit crimes again. Put them away for a long time, take them out of society, not so that way they can learn anything, not so that way they can sit around and learn a trade or whatever. Take them out of society because you are benefiting society as a whole by removing them. If you allow leniency to the people that commit crimes, you are punishing the good people that will end up encountering these people on a daily basis.
I want to jump to the story. It's from Le Monde. Montreal gunman leaves behind manifesto inspired by the incel movement. A shooting in the Canadian city on Monday, June 22nd, left 3 dead, including a police officer and the attacker. In a manifesto, the shooter expressed his hatred of women. And I hate the media. They're feminists. He did not express his hatred of women, nor was he inspired by the incel movement, though I think definitionally he was an involuntarily celibate individual. And I read large portions. I didn't read the entire. I skimmed through most of it and read key portions of his man. I read most of it. So I read the manifesto. It was published by Rebel News, and I would describe him as an involuntary celibate, whose principal anger was hypergamy. He didn't hate women. He was equally mad at men for being addicted to porn. He wanted a communist, socially conservative country, and I would just say that he was as dumb as a box of rocks. I don't think it's fair to characterize every single mass shooter as mentally ill. Some of them very much are. And the argument you often hear is like, you got to be mentally ill to do something like this. To a certain degree, I do think so, because what was his plan? He wrote like, our terror is not targeted at civilians. It's targeted at the powers and the institutions. And the assumption is that he was targeting Pornhub and going after its CEO.
It was total Marcuse too.
Yeah. And he advocated reading Marx and Robespierre. He said capitalism enables like OnlyFans kind of things and for women to be hypergamous. He didn't hate women. That's like a gross oversimplification. I think the most important takeaway I got from his manifesto is that he was a pussy. Holy crap. Talk about a weak, pathetic, low-value male. Guys, I'm sorry. I don't care if you're an incel. If you're a dude sitting around and you're 30 and you're a virgin and you consider yourself an incel, I ain't got no beef with you. My only desire for you is that you be better and that you find what you can do every day. I say, man, if you don't know what to do, just start doing push-ups, go for a walk. And then start reading stuff online, start finding ways to improve yourself. I don't have an issue with guys who haven't figured it out. I have an issue with a guy who is so weak that instead of trying to better himself, figure it out, and solve these problems, he's like, I'm going to get a gun and just shoot some people, which literally does nothing, hurts your cause, and makes you look dumb.
Is he dead?
Yes. I believe. We'll get to specific. He was killed by the police. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the whole hypergamy thing, there's a lot of evidence for that being true, but that doesn't give you just cause to go out and...
There's a lot of evidence. I don't think we need to present evidence to what is plainly obvious before everybody's eyes.
Fair enough.
With OnlyFans and the whatever.
Well,
podcast.
look, I said the other day that therapy's for women, and people are still wigging out on the internet about
they
it.
really?
And,
Well, you are right.
what?
That's correct.
Yeah, they're
That's
like,
correct.
yeah, it's probably the least controversial thing I've said. Like,
Men punch bricks.
yeah, I mean, look, guys
Women
want
talk to their friends.
and not to get into it again, but like, so the only reason I say that is because, or that I say, it's generally correct, is because people wig out about the most innocuous thing.
Gosh. Honestly, I don't think therapy is good for pretty much anybody, including women. But
What about couples therapy?
Yeah, therapy actually.
that's when you go to your priest.
Did you guys see this video of the women doing the anger retreat?
Oh,
Yes,
God.
it's crazy.
It actually
You almost
makes,
die of
Yes.
cringe.
it makes the conditions worse.
It's so bad because all it does is it encourages you to like sit in the most negative parts of your life, and then inevitably they try to blame it on like parental issues, and then they try to like pull you away from your parents, and it just turns into self-wallowing. Every person I know who's gone to therapy has come out of it with some kind of insane theory as to why they're the way they are, instead of just their own terrible behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I want to say? You know what I say? Guys, I don't care if you think that I do it right or do it wrong or whatever, but if you're sitting around and you're out of shape and you are not bettering yourself while complaining about everything, I got zero respect for you. If you are sitting around wallowing in filth covered in Cheeto dust and then your response is, "Yep, this is the life that I've chosen. I'm not going to get married or have kids, and I'm not going to blame anybody else for what I've chosen to do." I got respect for that, actually. It's like, okay, you are honest about who you are. For these people that are like, I watched these interviews with incel dudes, like self-described incels, and they're like, I just can't get a date or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not mad at that guy at all. I feel no disdain or disrespect or anything like that. I'm like, hey man, this guy needs a good strong pat in the back from a guy who's going to help him out and point him in the right direction, motivate him to light a fire under him. When I see the violent people, I'm like, it's the epitome of just being an absolute loser. So I'm going to say this: I take it as an utmost compliment when I see people in the chat say Tim's on Adderall. That's right. I work morning to night. And I'm high strung, high energy to the point where you can only assume it's possible through drugs. That just says to me you aren't trying. Seriously, that's just it. Maybe you're weak. I don't know. But if you think that I am here doing what I do because I'm on some kind of upper because of it, you are dead wrong. No tattoos, never got braces, no piercings, never done drugs, none of that stuff, no uppers, nothing. I have a cup of coffee in the morning. That's all I do. And I work throughout the day. Why? Because I'm a man. And, I'm going to give a shout out to Andrew Tate, despite the fact that people rag on him for a lot of reasons. But I'm going to say this. He has a great video, and I understand why so many young men are attracted to his message. He said, it doesn't matter if you feel like crap. It doesn't matter if you're depressed. A man wakes up and does the job he has to do. If you wake up feeling sad, too bad, go to work. If you wake up feeling tired, get up and go to work. And I'll give a shout out to Joe Rogan, who said that every day he has to push down the inner bitch telling him not to work out. And he knows. He sits there and he's like, I got to do my workout routine. But inside it's like, oh man, I really would rather just chill and watch TV. And he has to beat the crap out of that inner bitch and get to work so that he can be Joe Rogan. I'm just going to say this to all of you guys out there. To those of you that are angry but aren't trying, what's your excuse? What's your excuse? I don't have all the answers for you. Some people will just never be successful, and not everybody's going to have a family, but are you doing the best you can? That's the real question.
I think about sloth. I'm trying to find excuses from, like, sloth is a sin, opposite of diligence. Diligence is the virtue. And some guys, sloth, I used to think meant that you laid around a lot, but it actually means black pilled. It means no hope, which leads to people laying around. So maybe some of these guys look around and they're like, I don't see how to make the world better. It seems I don't see an answer. Therefore, I will revert to lashing out. If you can see the future, even if you're not there yet, at least you can see it. You have something to work towards. That's where I find that therapy can help in the right situations, in the right frequency, just to help people figure out a better path.
I see all these complaints online from people who are just like, it's not fair. Like in his manifesto, he explicitly says, one of the first things he writes is, ask a woman and she'll tell you looks don't matter. But then you look into who she's been with, and you'll see it's a bunch of tall, attractive, chiseled guys, showing you that what she says actually does not matter. And I'm like, what a loser. Like the idea that somebody who is short and ugly never had kids is the stupidest thing, because if that were the case, there'd be no short, ugly people. They clearly did have kids. They clearly did succeed, and they figured it out. And for whatever reason, you can't stop blaming everybody else. To go and shoot some dude, you know what I mean? Now, there's a big point of contention. We don't know if the lady cop killed the civilian. It's being reported that she did. Not the B is saying it definitively. Not the B reported female cop shoots Jewish rabbi outside Pornhub office. What is happening?
Whoa.
That's
Crazy
like,
sentence.
is that like a right-wing headline generator?
It's crazy.
Wait, so
Oh, wait, there's more. While hiding from Marxist gunman who killed immigrant officer named Mohammed.
The Times of Israel didn't report who shot the civilian, but they did confirm that he was a dual citizen of Canada and Israel.
Wow.
So
That headline right there is literally a right-wing headline generator.
yeah, clip that one.
Female cop shoots Jewish rabbi outside Pornhub office in Canada while hiding from Marxist gunman who killed immigrant officer named Mohammed.
gosh.
Jeez, man.
SEO right there.
Yes, seriously.
We live in a simulation or something. We live in
mad.
some kind of like entertainment program for an advanced species that is bored, or I guess.
We are the advanced species too. Yeah, I think so. Some light.
So you know how in like in GTA, you guys have played GTA, and everybody's played it, right? You go to Liberty City, which is basically New York, but it's a condensed version of it, right? Like, what if that's what we're in, and the world we're in is a condensed version of what the world actually is, and like New York actually has 40 million people in it, but like in our fake version of New York, it's only 10 million.
Yeah, I mean, look, when it comes to the dudes that are, like you're saying earlier, the dudes that are like, oh, this is so terrible, get up and go to the gym. Because as much as people are going to be like, oh, that's just a meathead kind of solution, blah, blah, blah. If you're exercising, it has a massive impact on your mental health.
Bro, that's therapy for men.
I mean, it is. It truly is.
yes,
It truly is.
you
But
try
like, but like, the idea that you can just go and talk things through, like ruminating for guys, it really doesn't work. Some women, like for a lot of women, they're like, I feel better after I go and I can kind of, emotionally talk about this stuff and I feel validated, and that's fine. And I'm sure there's some guys out there that are like that. There are men that are more feminine and women that are more masculine. But if you're in a bad place, exercise is probably the first, cheapest, and easiest thing to change your life. You just get up and do some exercise, get your blood pumping, actually burn some calories. And again, this isn't about like, looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger or being a marathon runner. Get up and walk. Take a walk.
I recommend
Change it.
I recommend chicken ownership. Owning chickens.
Taking care of others.
I find it I believe it would be impossible to be depressed and have chickens at the same time. I don't think it's a possibility. Yeah, because when you watch them and they, like, first of all, they love you, even though they're chickens and they're really dumb. They don't really I don't assume they have the same kind of love. But when we walk up by the chicken coop, they all come running and crowd around because they're like, oh, here comes they're going to bring food. We're all excited. And they're all happy to see you. And they play rugby. If you throw like a piece of food in there, they'll all chase each other and play rugby with it. But the real reason I say the chickens is not actually the goofiness of them because they're hilarious. It's that give yourself the responsibility of taking care of something.
Yep.
So that you have to wake up every day and make sure they're taken care of. And then you will have responsibility and you will have purpose. Not the most of it, but it's take care of something.
I used to struggle with being a procrastinator, like even a year and a half ago. As soon as my kid was born, I don't procrastinate about anything anymore. If the garbage needs to be taken out, take it out. Just do it. Because in 10 minutes, I don't know what the kid's going to be doing. I don't know what's going to happen. I need to do the things that I need to do right now, get them done, so that way if something else is going on or my kid needs me, I can be there. Like, I don't procrastinate about anything. If I end up cooking something, if Sarah's not around, I can do the dishes right away. And as I'm cooking, like, there's no more procrastination. Having someone that relies on you completely changes you.
Well, I think another good piece of advice, and probably the best that I've heard I am still a bit of a procrastinator, but definitely better than I used to be, is that if the task takes less than like 5 or 10 minutes, do it now.
Yeah.
And when you accomplish the smaller task, you suddenly get momentum and motivation to do the bigger stuff.
Yep.
Well, I prefer the Democrat method, though.
Have someone
which
else do
is
it.
an illegal immigrant. Will
Yeah.
and then you don't got to pay him because
I like staying in the moment. It's a big deal. There is no time, future, past. It's all right now. This moment, it just changes shape constantly. You're in this moment constantly right now. now. This is the moment. This is always it. So if you live like that, and obviously having responsibility kind of keeps you in that state of mind. But if you can get to that state of mind where you realize it's just right now. Right now is it. This is your time. Go, do. Like that is for me, it's a very motivating factor.
If someone told me that they own chickens and were depressed, I'd say you're a liar. That's a lie.
You don't spend enough time with them. Then
well, there's a 4chan meme, it's a green text meme, where this dude wrote how he was depressed, he has a mundane job, he's single, he wakes up, he goes to work, he comes home, everything's boring. And then one day his neighbor got chickens, and he wakes up early with the rooster yelling, and he's like, he doesn't know how to feel about it. But then as he's leaving for work, he looks over the fence and he watches them bobbing their little heads and goofing around and starts laughing, goes to work. And then while he's at work, he's getting his job just thinking about what the chickens are doing. And then when he gets home, he looks and they're going to bed. And then he's like, I go to bed and I wake up hearing the chickens and I giggle again. And I get up and he's like, man, feels good now. You know, I'm just watching these little things. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. There's a reason why humans put chickens in Europe, but they put chickens on their flags. Do you know that? No. They were like kingdoms. They put chickens on their flags. Yeah. They were like, these things are awesome. Yeah. Goofy little things running around, bobbing their heads. You know what I mean? You can't be depressed. It's not possible. Yeah. Or a dog, you know.
Dogs are great.
That's also why people get a lot of cats.
I'm a cat person.
Yeah, same here.
Cats are pretty good.
So funny.
I watched a video where a dog was sleeping on a dog bed by the screen door and the light was coming in, and the cat came over and started doing the cat massage on him. And I'm like, how can you be depressed watching that? You know what I mean? Like, it just brightens up your day.
Every night I get home from work and my Maine Coon is waiting at the door between the garage and the house, just crying for me to open the door. Like, please come in.
He's like, my life is over. I need food. All right, let's get back to the depressing stuff. Here's a story from the AP. Judge blocks use of federal database to check citizenship, saying it could wrongly purge voters. I love this headline. Because judges aren't supposed to provide relief on potentialities. Judges are supposed to provide relief to the plaintiffs if there is relief to be granted. So my favorite thing about this first is that the judge's name is Sparkle L. Suknanan. Okay. Sparkle. Sure. Blocking Donald Trump's SAVE program, systemic alien verification for entitlements, to make sure that people who are on voter rolls are citizens. Now, the argument is that there are a handful of people who are wrongly purged from voter databases. Okay. If that's the case, then there actually is a simple remedy to provide. That would be you must send notice 1 month in advance of their purge from the voter rolls with a chance to remedy. That's it. It makes no sense to block the whole thing outright over a perceived potential harm that may come, and you don't know if it will. The real issue here is this judge is a leftist who is fighting a war against you. I don't mean a hot conflict. I am saying it's an ideological battle where they are going to assert their authority to do whatever it takes to seize power from that system. It's very obvious because, let me put it this way. During the 2020 election, Republicans filed lawsuits before the election saying, hey, these things put in place are going to disenfranchise voters. And the judges literally responded in dozens of cases, how are we supposed to provide relief to a harm that has not happened yet? After the election, come back and we'll consider your case. So when the Republicans then filed lawsuits after the election saying these rules caused this fraud and disenfranchisement, the judges went, oh, well, it's too late now. The election already happened. What are we supposed to do? Turn election over? No. Sorry, case dismissed, moot. The point is the judges are lying all the time for power. And what we're seeing right here is that a judge has decided to prevent future harm, she will ban something. How do you know the harm's actually going to happen? You don't. And that's the point. You are fighting an ideological battle, and the Republicans have been doing better, but mostly Trump has been doing better. And the Democrats, the liberals, the machine is still a-churning.
I am also confused as to how she's making this ruling, because my understanding is that they've created the database, but it requires legislative action for them to actually use it to require citizen checks before voting, right? Isn't that the whole point of the Save America Act?
Yeah.
So she's not even just talking about potential harm from the database. She's talking about potential harm from a law that hasn't been passed that would use the database. Like, she's 2 orders away from what's actually happening here.
I mean, look, the fact that a judge is continuing to do the judges are continuing to do these kind of things, like to inhibit the executive branch basically from all of the stuff that they're trying to do, I think that's just more evidence they need to do something about the judges. Like, ignore them.
What is the digital database that they're trying to set up?
It basically merges Social Security Administration data with immigration data. So it's like a two-way check to see whether or not someone's a citizen. Because some illegal immigrants have Social Security numbers or steal them fraudulently. Yes. And so the idea is that you would have that immigration database from DHS as the backup to make sure that you're not wrongfully removing people from the voter rolls.
I think it's so what? Remove people from voter rolls. Thank you. Have a nice day. If I got a letter in the mail and it was like, your name has been removed from the voter roll, you must fill out this form and send it back in. If you believe this was done in error, I'd be like, oh. And then I would do it. Registering to vote is not difficult.
It's very easy.
Insane. In fact, when I go to the DMV to get my ID updated or whatever, they're just like, would you like to make sure you're...
Check a box.
Yep.
That's it.
You're done.
Super simple.
So this is all fake, and the real reason they're doing this is to create holes in the system that they benefit from.
Yep.
They also were complaining, I remember this was a big talking point, that married women who changed their last names were going to be disenfranchised by the SAVE Act. It's so idiotic. If you change your last name legally, you already have all the required documents you need to prove that you're a citizen. You have a marriage license. You probably would have had to change your social security card. You would have updated your driver's license. You would have updated your name on your mortgage or your lease or whatever it is. Like your name would be changed in every instance, and you'd have the marriage license as a backup.
But also, who cares if they don't have that?
Because they're idiots.
Well, I just mean, like, do you want more women voting?
I would like to vote because I vote the right way.
No, that's you. I'm talking about them.
Well, it's fair. That's a fair point. I would, yeah. But the problem is, if you disenfranchise the married women tend to vote more Republican, they're majority Republican, then you would just allow the unmarried women to take all of the power, and they're all the libs. So that's the problem.
Why are they advocating for married Republican women? Sorry.
The whole framing of this is that it is an entire good to have more people voting.
Right.
Like it's an obvious positive. That's not the case. We had Brian Shapiro on here, and he was talking about the 2020 election. We were talking about how many votes there were, and mail-in ballots and ballot harvesting. And he's like, "Well, what do you think should happen?" It should have just had a lower turnout. He was like, "Oh no, we can't do that." It's not that big of a deal.
You know what we should do to Brian? We should pull secret psyops against him when he's around. So like one thing we can do is when we're all hanging out, I'll be like, actually, Ian could be like, you're like, hey, Brian, do you want to go in on lunch together? And like I'll split, we'll get something. He'll probably be like, oh yeah, for sure. And then you're like, oh, what do you want to get? And then when he says like, hey, you want to order pizza? You should go, hold on, let me ask what everybody else wants from your pizza. Hey, what do you guys want to order? Brian's paying for it. And then see what he says. He'll be like, no, I don't think, why? He's like, I'm not going to pay for that. Be like,
why?
What do you mean? Why not? Everyone should vote, right?
Yeah.
Everyone should.
We voted.
We just constantly do those weird little like gaslighting things until he's like a hardcore right-wing, like libertarian, laissez-faire guy.
No, I changed my whole thing.
He's wearing 2 MAGA hats.
I kind of am with you, Phil, that I don't think voting should be as easy as possible. I definitely don't think it should be as easy as possible, but I don't want it to be hard to do.
I think it should be as hard as possible.
Really? Well, I mean,
I think you should have to complete a Ninja Warrior course to vote.
And hike
moats with gators and
salmon ladder, you know?
To the top of
the salmon ladder. I could probably do one salmon ladder, like one rung and then fall down.
I mean,
that would definitely keep women out. We have no upper body strength.
What is a salmon ladder?
It's fair though. We're equal.
We get a bar and there's hooks. And you have to
yeah, it's like a pull-up bar, and it's like there's notches like this, and then you grab it and you pull and then go like that.
Oh.
It shouldn't be where they're mailed to where ballots are mailed to your house and then you just mail them back. That's absolutely ridiculous.
In DC, you get like 10 ballots mailed to your house every election because they just never update the voter rolls. So anyone who's ever lived at your address gets a mail-in ballot automatically.
And if we keep going the direction, it's just going to be like you're going to let her in the mail saying you already voted Democrat, and if you don't want to, mail this back saying I don't want to vote Democrat.
We voted for you.
Somebody from your previous establishment voted in your name.
Yeah. No, there's going to be like your universal Democrat ballot has already been received. If this was an error, please send this back and wait 30 days. The election's in 27.
Dude, I mean, they selected Kamala. That's like the first step towards your selected candidate has been voted for in your stead. Please.
When's the last time the Democrats had a primary?
before. It was
2020 or 2019.
Biden and Buttigieg and all
That's
those
crazy.
Oh, man.
Tulsi Gabbard.
2019
I'd never
was the
seen
last
them
primary,
not have
huh?
a primary. This was the first
Man.
time. I guess the super delegates stepped in.
Oh,
and
dude.
selected.
Guys, 2028 is going to be bonkers. The 2027 primary season, it's going to go into the early 28 primary season, and we're going to have a Democrat and Republican primary this time. It's like, could you imagine what J.D. Vance is going to say about Marco Rubio?
I want it now.
You know, yeah.
I know they're all kind of stuck in the cabinet, but
I think Tucker Carlson's going to run as a Democrat. I'm only half joking when I say that. But he was like, I'm not going to support the Democrats, but I wouldn't be surprised. Guys, I do think there's a possibility the Democratic Party ceases to exist. It's the oldest political party in the world. Sooner or later, it's going to cease. I mean, the reality of the world is, I was talking to my wife about this. Most people lived the exact same way their grandparents lived for human history. We're totally different. This idea of like, Abe Simpson, I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. That didn't exist before the 1900s, and I don't think it's going to exist afterwards. We keep talking about how like culture is stagnating and we're not getting updates on anything. I'm like, no, I actually think we had a big boom in the Industrial Revolution that rapidly changed things, and now we're going to settle back in to the mean, which is I'm going to listen to Stone Temple Pilots. My daughter's going to listen to Stone Temple Pilots, Smashing Pumpkins, by the way. I listen to Three Dog Night. I listen to CCR. My parents did. It's still great music. It's still on my playlist. And the 90s music is on all our playlists. And I think now what's going to happen is we're going to have this like traditional, it's going to be like Americana folk rock, which is not literally folk, but it's going to be like 100 years from now, kids are playing CCR. They're going to be like, this is traditional American music. They're going to march into battle with the dude on the flute playing like Fortunate Son.
yeah, the electricity era and our ability to record, they actually call them records. Like that's the word record. It's like so that's the record is the black circle thing. Like why? But we landed in
First
that
they were
era.
cylinders.
What's that?
First they were cylinders.
Yeah, and then they call them records, but they just changed the tone of the word record. We're in the record.
There was probably
area,
some like
the
Southern
record area.
bumpkin who was like, "You recording that?"
Yeah. Are you
Yeah, I got a
building?
record
What
of
are you
it.
building? A building? Okay. What are you recording? A record.
But Ian, I think you
But
understand. You understand that records were written down things that existed for hundreds.
Yeah,
of
they
years.
had records, but now our version of record, I guess, is recorded.
I'm saying
audio.
the word record didn't come from someone saying I would
It's true.
record.
It's true, but to have a physical, it used to be a physical.
A
you used to have
recording
records
came
of
from that people
books.
would record a meeting.
Right, but they call them records like they're nouns, and technically the verb is
Yes, because hundreds of years ago there would be a record of a meeting written down. Get it?
that you recorded.
Yes.
So we're in the era of digital recording now. It's even surpassed the analog.
We're past all that, bro.
And so that's why CCR is still relevant. I mean, who knows who was a hot musician 270 years ago?
But we still listen to like
Francis
House of the
Scott
Rising Sun.
Yeah, dude, I was just listening to Three Dog Night yesterday, dude.
Yeah.
Never been to.
I'm seeing
So
Smashing
good.
Pumpkins
Spain?
in September, I think.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't wait.
So like that's part of why I feel like I'm great because like I'm in an era where I get to record myself and then manipulate
feel
humanity
like
for the next 10,000 years.
I'm
with-
great.
So it is kind of like a responsibility we have to be that recording artist for the future because they're all going to be watching our stuff.
I
Whoever we
think
are,
it's going to be like 10 years from now, and everyone's going to be hive-minded with glowing eyes, levitating and floating around in T-poses. That's it. Everyone is going to be one with Ian, whether you want it to be or
That
not.
sounds awful.
but I'll be one with you.
That sounds worse.
I said it before, I'll say it again. I genuinely believe that once they roll out neural read-write capabilities, Democrats cease to exist. And what I mean by that is, if you get 100 Democrats and 100 Republicans and you line them all up, and they walk up to a booth where Elon Musk says, "I've got 2 Neuralink headbands that will allow you to experience any world or reality that you'd ever want," the Democrat will be like, "Done," and the Republican will be like, "No, that's creepy. I don't want to do that." And some Republicans would be like, "Sure, I got no problem. I can live my life and balance this device." Democrats are gonna jump in the pod and eat the bugs in 2 seconds because they're gonna be like, "Wow, I get to be Harry Potter," and the Republicans are gonna be like, "I'm gonna live a normal life and raise my kids."
Is it Arrested Development? Like,
Yes.
because libs, the Disney adults are all libs too, right?
Yep.
Like, I don't know a Republican that's a Disney adult.
I saw this video so Reddit today was basically Don't Have Kids Day. So I'm looking at Reddit, the front page, the most popular things is this woman, and she's like, "These people keep coming to my page saying, 'You don't understand because you don't have kids. I would die for my kids. I love them unconditionally.'" Yeah, but would you live for them? Would you better yourself? Work out? Go to the doctor? Quit drinking? Would you live? Because dying is easy. And I'm just like, oh, stop. Yes, yes. Every parent, yes. Phil was literally just talking about taking out the garbage, about he normally would procrastinate. And now he doesn't anymore because he has kids. This is like, it's this woman, I'm not trying to be a dick, but her whole Instagram is about how she chooses to not have kids. And I'm like, for somebody who doesn't want kids, man, you wake up thinking about having kids a whole lot and then complaining about people who have kids. Sounds to me like you got sour grapes. And the only reason I try to be a little bit respectful is because maybe she just can't have kids. And so it's her whole cope. I don't really respect that cope because you should be telling people to have kids. But this is the permanent child generation. They don't grow up. They want to play all day. They don't want to be adults. They don't want to work hard. There was a post. Let me find it on X. I just think that what we should do is these people should be airlifted and then dropped into the middle of the woods for 1 month. So let me pull this one up. Here you go. This is Megan Murphy tweeted this. She said, it's a Huffington Post article. I'm not a woman or a man, and existing in this binary world is really, really hard.
Yeah.
She said, I would argue your life isn't hard at all, which is why you had to invent some retarded nonsense like not having a sex in order to pretend it is. And I said, I think we should be able to be allowed to drop these people in the woods for a month, hundreds of miles from civilization. No, don't worry. Don't worry. We'll monitor their health. If they are distressed or starving or dehydrated, we will intervene to save them. The point is, maybe then they'll be like, wow, my life's great.
I mean, look, man, you have serious problems if you're like, I can't survive this binary gender.
But it's so much more than just this one thing. This is the liberal condition. They are what is the saying? My steak is too juicy and my lobster is too buttery.
Yeah.
That defines the liberal worldview. They're like, oh, my life is so hard because I don't want to be called a man, but I'm called. Okay, listen. How about you go hunt wild boar to eat, and if you don't catch it, you die. And then if you do catch it, you gotta cook it and figure out how to make fire. And if you don't, you die. I just watched this video that every man on the planet loves, and for some reason women love too. And it's that famous video where the men and the women are sent to two different islands, and the women are crying the whole time and lost, and the men are partying, and they set up like a cabana, and they're catching fish, and they're like, ah, and they're high-fiving. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's liberals and conservatives right there.
Those same people, by the way, always are minimizing and downplaying real people's struggles. Like the people who complain about how hard it is to be non-binary or people keep using my wrong pronouns are the same ones who mock conservatives who point out that cities are crime-ridden hellholes and that it's actually not safe to ride on the metro. You're scared of the city. Oh yeah, you little conservative. You're scared of the city.
Like, bro, you're afraid of ordering a pizza.
You
Shut
order
up.
DoorDash and choose leave at door. Like, shut up.
Right? It's
so wild that like we're in an era where everybody's got air conditioning. They've got a refrigerator,
Except
a
the
microwave,
Europeans.
a microwave. Dude, I remember when I was a kid, not everybody I knew had a microwave. You know, how old are you?
Yeah, we didn't.
I am 32.
So you
94.
So you probably were, when you were young enough, people had microwaves.
Yes.
I was just old enough where I'm like 8 to 10 years old. So I was born in 86. I'd go to a friend's house, they didn't have a microwave.
Yeah, we didn't have a microwave or an air conditioner.
For us,
Yep.
the sign of wealth growing up was like when your friend had one of those refrigerator doors where the ice and the water came out.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Regal.
it.
Oh, no, man. I had a friend who got an N64, and we were like, whoa. And everybody wanted to hang out with him all the time. Can we go to your house after school? And he's like, sure. And then we'd all sit around watching Mario 64, like all excited.
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing ever.
And
The
his grandpa
original.
was a dentist, so he got a nice Tandy Sensation and a N64.
Tandy.
He got a Tandy.
Man, Andy had a Turbo Graphics.
Really?
Yeah.
Josh had one of those.
Bonk. Remember Bonk?
Yeah, Bonk's Adventure. Yeah, Bonk was great.
that was the original
Dude.
Twitch streaming.
We had is it Sega Dream?
Dreamcast.
Yeah,
Dreamcast.
Dreamcast.
Yeah.
I remember I was hanging out with Brandon. We were at Roger's house watching Real Time with Bill Maher. And I was 18, and I said to them, in the future, there's going to be the Simpsons channel. And the reason why I said this is because he had cable, and we were scrolling through the cable channels, and like it's picture in picture with like Real Time or whatever. And I can't remember which cable channel it was, but it was like 4 episodes of The Simpsons back to back to back to back. And then I was just like, where this goes is obvious. I was like, you're going to go to cable and it's going to be like a channel called The Simpsons. It's just nothing but The Simpsons. And I was on the right track. We are now in an era where you turn on Disney Plus, because Simpsons is all on Disney Plus now,
or YouTube, and everyone's got a channel. Like Simpsons could have a channel.
But what I just mean is, if you want to watch The Simpsons, you don't turn on Fox and then wait for it to come on. You literally go to the Simpsons page and watch whatever you want, whenever you want. It is remarkable that we have expanded luxury beyond human, like the dreams of the greatest kings and conquerors, and people are pissed off.
Yeah, luxury. I think that's because luxury is not the goal. And living in luxury, like, it will augment your life, but if you don't have fulfillment, it's pretty meaningless. Like, it'll get you maybe a dopamine kick over and over again, but that then falls off. Like, if you don't have actual responsibility in your life and you're not actually improving your environment, then luxury is only going to get you through the day, maybe.
Like, let me just stress to, like, all these wackaloon lefties. You know, they're why we can't have nice things. I went to a card shop. I think it's called Foam City. Shout out to Foam City in Winchester. And they had like a bunch of Pokemon cards. And I was just thinking to myself, like, we are in a day and age where you can literally have pictures of fake monsters that fight each other, and you can make a living doing it and actually make a good living. Like, imagine going back 500 years and there's like some dude with scurvy on the high seas trying to make his way to is 500 years too far? No, not 500 years are good. He's trying to make his way to the new world for treasures and bounty, and his teeth are falling out, and he's 23, and he's dying, and he's bloated. And he's like, but I will finally have something. And then he keels over and dies. And you're sitting there being like, I got air conditioning, clean running water, hot showers, and I make a living where I can afford all of these things and eat steak dinners because I sold a picture of a dragon breathing fire.
I know. The age of the storyteller. That you can make a living being a storyteller is fascinating. Since what? I guess since the age of recording. Since you could have like musicians that could actually sell a record before they would play for dinner.
Radio, for sure.
Yeah, radio. Mass
or like
media.
the written book. You know, you could tell like Mark Twain.
To be fair, I guess back in the day, like writing a book was legit because you had to write every single copy. Yeah. So if you wrote a book, it was a big deal.
The printing press made the recording artist like Mark Twain potential.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The printing press, you would set each page, and then you'd print like 100 pages, and then you'd set the next page. It's wild. I'm like, the printing press made it easier to make books, and I'm like, wow. But they literally had to take the letters, you know, and put each letter in and the space, and then ink it, and then
typeset, I think they call it. Typeset.
Crazy.
But so
and the capital letters were in the uppercase. And
that's hilarious.
That's why
the
called
case that they would get
letters.
it from. They'd get it in the uppercase.
Yep. So capital letters versus letters, and standard letters were in the lowercase.
I think
wild.
Some of the phenomenon of misery that we're seeing is because so many people, the opportunity to be a storyteller for a living is predominant, is just eminent right now. And many people want to be storytellers because it's like a life of luxury. It's not hard, backbreaking work. It's rewarding, especially if you like the stories you're telling. It can help so many people. So it's like you need people to listen. If you're going to tell stories, you need a crowd to listen. And we're like at this inflection point where we have more people that want to be tellers than that want to be listeners, maybe.
And so where do we go with that?
Tell AI.
When we get Neuralink read-write capabilities, meaning when you can put on a Neuralink headband, because surgery, no one's going to want the surgery. But when they get a headband you can put on that will broadcast sensory information into your brain and read sensory information from your brain, it can send you into any universe and any reality and any scenario where you will feel everything. And this is the death of humanity because people are going to be brain fried.
What we got to do is, I think the human brain might evolve. Some humans will evolve to be able to listen and speak at the same time. So they'll be able to.
The point is this: when every single person has cheap access to every possible experience and all knowledge instantly, where do humans go? The ability to write to your brain means, so there's a bunch of movies about this. There's one where they have eye drops. I forgot what it's called, and if they put the eye drop in your eye, then the nanites go into your brain and simulate a certain amount of time of an experience. So initially, the woman, and there's a woman, a guy who invented, the woman's like, we want to sell vacations. So when you take the eye drop, you experience an Aspen skiing vacation. And then when you come out of it, you remember skiing and the feeling of it. And the guy goes, we can do prison sentences. So he makes 50-year prison sentences, and you're in a box for 50 years. And the movie ends where they fight because she's like, we won't do this. And then she gets him in the eye. And then he goes for 1,000 years into ugh. But my point is, what happens to the human mind when you take the stupidest person, plug their brain in, and make them experience something so they stop acting like an a-hole. Like, what if it turns out that Phil, in base reality, is some raging communist? And he got arrested after shooting up an ICE facility. So they put the Neuralink on his head to simulate an existence in which he would come to hate communists, to understand why it's bad. And now when he wakes up, he's going to be like, oh, is that what I was? Oh, I hate these people.
And I'm going to be his doctor. I'm the guy standing over you.
That's why
Welcome
somehow
back.
Ian's been at every major moment of Phil's life the same age. Like Phil's in grade school and like Ian's in the corner of the rooms watching. And Phil's like, it's you. You were there.
I think that
every time.
Some people will be driven insane by the nonstop influx of information, but other people are going to be able to not only listen. I try and test this every once in a while. I'll pull up like 3 YouTube videos at once and try and listen to them all at the same time. And it can be like a lot of noise, but you can actually hear these 3 conversations happening at once. You can train your brain. And if we can evolve, because like we're not done evolving. We have all this brain matter that we still haven't come to understand what it's used for. If we can take in information while we're delivering it, that might be how we get past this inflection point of infinite information. It's just constant. And I don't want to not get the info. I want to get barrage. Hit me with it all. I want all of it. I want the data, but I don't want to stop telling you. You in particular, Phil. So let's evolve together.
I'm of the opinion that evolution takes outside forces.
Well, the internet might be the outside force. We've created the artificial intelligently monstrous algorithm that's twisting
us. Are you
us.
talking about adapting or evolving?
You know, that's semantic. Yeah, exactly.
Well, evolution is something that happens over generations. You know, you have to have new people be born for the evolution to happen, but people can adapt.
Right. So like in one generation, you'll see some humans will adapt, but then their kids will just be more ready for it. And then their kids will actually be able to do it.
Well, usually when the traditional version of evolution, there's a mutation that makes survival for that particular individual a little bit easier. And over time, those mutations build up.
Let's jump to this next story from Semaphore. Guys, we got big news. Daily Wire, under pressure, seeks strategic investors, targets IPO. Holy smokes, take a look at this. The Daily Wire, one of the biggest players in conservative media, is in talks to take on at least $100 million in investment with an eye on an initial public offering in a few years' time. The company, which was founded by Ben Shapiro in 2015, has been in talks with Highmount Capital to lead a funding round that would value the company at $750 million, according to documents reviewed by Semaphore. The Daily Wire is trying to take on the New York Times from the right. Privately disclosed that it notched $48 million in adjusted EBITDA last year, but it also failed to grow its subscriber base and to keep the ones it has paying, the documents show. So $48 million, how much of that is profit? Probably not that much. That's actually really bad, and it's bad. Now, to all the people that are like, the Daily Wire is going out of business, they're lying. However, $48 million when you have, take me back to the article. What are you doing? When you've got, what do they have? They have 771,000 paying monthly members, meaning how are they at 48 million? Is it
that's like exactly subscriber rev at that number.
Exactly. Well, no, I mean, they should be doing 90 million.
Yeah, if they're paying
771,000 paying members, what is their lowest? What is $5, I guess?
Oh, okay.
Right.
3.5 million per month at
per month
times 12, that's 40 million. You know,
so about 40, and then they're doing another 8 million in like other revenue sources,
Coffee
like
cups and Jeremy's razors,
sponsors, and no, they're separate companies.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, in this, they point out that they burned $50 million on Pendragon. But check this out. This is interesting. They said private. This is really interesting. The company's banker said it fielded out buyout offers over $1 billion. But the Daily Wire's founders prefer to take a minority-aligned investment to grow the business. Those bankers said a $2 billion IPO could be achievable within approximately 18 months. And that is not necessarily incorrect. The interesting thing is you could typically go like 5 to 10 times EBITDA. But the thing about the Daily Wire right now, this is the stupidest. Like I got questions with the Daily Wire, a lot of questions, right, guys? Everybody knows right now is the off season, right? It's like, winter for summer sports. Like, what are you doing? You're not sitting around crying because you're not making money. You know that your bread and butter comes when the political season comes in, right? So ad revenue is already starting to go up. Spring is a bad time to do this. And last year was coming off of a presidential cycle, so you're going to see a decline. This year, you're going to see this dip from the end of last year into the end of this year until the midterms kick off and mass spending begins to occur. With that spending, what's going to happen is that YouTube and other major carriers are going to prioritize political content where these advertisers want to exist. Political spending is going to outpace all other spending. And then, for example, YouTube does this. So Ian comes to me, and let's say I'm YouTube, and he says, I want to advertise cowboy hats. And I say, okay, well, we've got a fine selection of videos where you can list your cowboy hats and make some money. Phil then comes to me and says, I want to advertise my political campaign for my whole party. And then I say, how much money you got for the cowboy hats? And Ian says, $10 million per month. I say, how much money you got for politics? And Phil says, I got $10 billion per month. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. So then YouTube says, okay, we need to promote videos that this guy wants promoted because we make more money when he sells ads than when he sells ads. YouTube's incentive is, in a midterm cycle, the algorithm should be promoting content that is politically oriented so we can fill our political inventory. All other ads will exist on whatever content they want. But when you go into Google Ads and you're a musician, you say, I want my ad to appear on content where for people who like music. So YouTube then says, we've got an order of $100 million and it's got to be on content for music lovers. Promote music content. There's no political advertisement right now. Minimal. So YouTube's like, well, why would we promote it? Well, who cares? We don't have any inventory. For the Daily Wire to try and seek an IPO right now at this evaluation is silly because they could wait 1 year, hit early primary season, double their revenue, and then it's going to be fantastic. I suppose their concern is because they're going for an IPO and they're doing it based off of last year's EBITDA, this year they're probably going to be comparable or slightly less because the end of the year they're going to see a pickup. December is going to be massive. And then because they dump all the marketing budgets. Next year with the primary season, the end of 27 for Daily Wire probably will be 100 million EBITDA.
Yeah, they want to raise the money, I guess. I don't know, but raise the money now to use to invest during primary season to pump Daily Wire to the next level.
Because they did just lay off a bunch of political desk reporters.
But wasn't it like a couple dozen people out of like 400?
I heard it was more than that.
Well, what I heard, I saw all these reporting that they were doing mass layoffs because obviously people, the haters are going to hate. And then from the people that I know, they said it was like a couple dozen people. So it's like
but for their reporting team, that's actually a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the whole company.
So if your plan is that you're going to have a big turnaround during the midterms and then the presidential election cycle, you want to be staffing up your political desks right now. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to cover it in a way that's comparative.
I wouldn't do it. I will not invest in news reporters for this political cycle. You know why? Daily Caller will do it, and then I'll just use their content.
So true.
So, but this is the challenge. No, we'll just invite Amber Duke on the show to bring all of her reporting and coverage.
Well, it's true. I mean, I guess I don't understand where the Daily Wire's comparative advantage is. I mean, I guess it's the commentary, right? It's the podcasting host. It's Matt Walsh. It's Ben Shapiro. It's Michael Knowles.
Matt Walsh.
I see his stuff go viral a lot. I mean,
yep. Matt Walsh has just been a superstar the whole time. And with all due respect to Ben and Michael Knowles and
I agree. It's
Jordan
Matt Walsh.
Peterson is still there, right?
No.
Yeah, but he's
not doing well.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't.
But I mean, I guess the struggle is, okay, well, what if you lose one of those faces? What if they go somewhere else? Then all of a sudden, what are you selling your subscribers?
Yeah,
Ben Shapiro? Like, is that it?
That's the big question. When we started Maker Studios was the first YouTube multi-channel marketing network. We started it off as this little idea called The Station, where a bunch of us YouTubers got together. It was like 2009, 2010. We would all like promote each other together. We created this nice network, and then they turned into a company called Maker. Disney wanted it because they wanted all these creators, so they bought it for $1 billion. They sold it for $1 billion. Then all the creators just left because they weren't like bound contractually. And then as soon as they left, the value of Maker just plummeted, and that was the end of that. I mean, I think the shell still exists with the name.
Oh, bro, let me tell you a Maker story. How many people out there remember Maker Studios?
I remember it vaguely.
It was
bought by Disney, right?
Literally my idea in a hotel room to make
it was bought by Disney, right?
Yeah.
So this funny thing happens where I knew people that were signed to Maker. And Maker was a YouTube, what was it called? An MCN, a multi-channel
first
network?
one, yeah, MCN.
And they had no rights to any of the content. They basically just said, like, we'll help promote each other and try and get ad deals for you. And I was with Full Screen early on, which was a multi-channel network. They got rid of all these things. And Full Screen didn't do anything for me. Nothing. So here's a funny thing that happens. I'm at Fusion, and they come to me and they say, Disney just acquired Maker, so we have all of this talent. And then I was like, well, I mean, you have their phone numbers? Or like, what do you mean? And so they approached me, and they said, take a look at this roster of talent now available to us, and let's see if we can do something with one of these people. And I said, what does Maker have to do with this talent roster? I mean, I understand they're signed to Maker, but you owning Maker isn't going to guarantee us any kind of deals. What are you talking about? Yo, legit, Disney thought they bought a talent agency. They didn't realize that they bought nothing. And so they came to me and said, take a look at these top creators. We're going to do content with them. And I said, sure, send them an email and see if they're interested in working with us. And they were like, no, they're with Maker. We bought the company. And I had to explain to this guy, I was like, do you guys not know what you just bought? You bought a multi-channel network, which doesn't give you rights to anything. It just created like a roster list that you can claim you have phone numbers. It's a Rolodex.
Yeah, it could have been something other than that.
That's all it was.
Obviously, Daily Wire is different. It's a different thing. I don't know the contracts that Knowles and Matt Walsh and Ben have, so I don't know if someone else were to purchase Daily Wire, if they're bound to be there for
Yes, they
5
are.
more years to do their show for X years or whatever. So
Indeed they are.
There's security there. It's a different situation, but the name itself.
I don't know the specifics to each of their deals. Ben Shapiro is an owner. He can't go anywhere. He's going to have contractual obligations as a shareholder. I don't know the specific deals for Matt Walsh, but I do know that some of their other talent explicitly have in their contracts that they can't leave. Like, I don't want to say it's overtly specific, but the general understanding in the contract is when leadership or sales occur, the contracts are assignable to other companies without the discretion of the individuals. It's fairly standard in media.
I think another thing that tells you a lot about the Daily Wire's struggle with relying so much on personality and the brand itself not having as much cachet with conservatives is that some of their talent are now creating channels that are not Daily Wire branded.
Wait, like who?
Like the Reagan Conrad girl who took over.
Wait, she made her own personal channel?
Yes, and so I think Daily Wire owns it, but it's
right.
But it's like her.
That's actually a good idea.
It is a good idea.
They're trying to create a network.
Exactly.
Well, that
so
does.
that it's not all under Daily Wire brand.
That does.
I think that's the way a lot of people consume this content now is that it is personality based rather than brand based.
Oh yeah.
But I do wonder if that makes it harder for them if they're trying to indeed go public.
I don't know that these kinds of companies can survive this way under this system. I think there is a big push to create singular networks. So I talked to some high up individuals, we'll call it like that, some top men, and what's been described to me by various top media executives is that their vision, aka plan, is for there to be 3 big streaming platforms in the next decade. That's it. Everything will be under. Look what's happening with CBS, Time Warner. They are trying to consolidate everything so that they all exist under this stringent 3-network umbrella, the way it used to be back in the day when there were only 5 networks. That way they can control messaging. They can control who makes money and who doesn't. So YouTube, I genuinely believe the AI stuff YouTube wants, the machine wants. I don't know that they can make it happen. I'm not saying that it's a conspiracy where it's guaranteed to happen. I'm saying powerful elites are like, we'd be better off if YouTube was a mess of AI content, so no independent creator could ever make a living. Maybe a small one, maybe 40, 50,000 a year equivalent, whatever it's going to be in 10 years. But they want all prominent personalities to be under the umbrella of major corporations, so their legal departments and their essentially plan makers and executives can dictate the messaging of shows. If let's say that we, in 10 years, like there's only 3 networks. So for the instance of Timcast IRL, we eventually get bought out or absorbed by some company. Then the executive comes to us and says, hey guys, listen, we're going to get sued to oblivion if you cover this one story, so let's hold off on it for now. But I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying let's wait till we get clearance from legal. What people assume is that when you work at a network, they come to you and they say, you will not cover this story. We will stop you. You know, like, oh no, you don't like Israel's a good example. They think the boss comes to you and says, don't make Israel look better, we'll come after you. And like, that's all a lie, it's all fake. They come to you and they say things like, legal has concerns that you will get sued because we can't clear this. So let's hold off until we can get reporting on it. And that's how they move stories out of the way. And most people, it's not an unreasonable request. If you're like, okay, then we'll wait. And then they kill certain stories.
Yeah.
And they kill art in general.
Indeed they do.
That's like working for the corporate money, and it's easy to kind of just, well, all right, I'll just keep my mouth shut this time. But this age of like independent journalists speaking their mind, I don't know, man. The only reason we haven't succumbed to the liberal economic war machine in totality, why Trump has an opportunity to create this new world order, I think that's what he's doing, is because of the age of independent media. Like Biden's censorship regime was almost a steel trap, except people were able to like speak out against it. So I think decentralized media, where we're hosting on our own devices, is still potential. But like you got Verizon, you've got the networks that can shut you down. So that's a stopgap. Is who runs the ISP, who owns the device, who builds the devices that you're using, because those are usually built by corporations. I mean, I don't know. None of my buddies build phones for a living.
Bro, they took away your ability to remove your battery.
It's crazy, dude. It's always on.
Yes, it is.
Potentially.
They made it so that your microphone is always listening to everything you say. Not a conspiracy theory, guys. I covered this over 10 years ago. When you have voice commands on your phone, so you can say like, hey, device, and then it goes, what can I do for you? It was on and listening to you, waiting for you to say, hey, device. And how does it know what you're saying? It records what you say, transmits it to a third-party company who converts audio to text, sends it back to the phone. Now, they may have advanced a lot of this, but that's how it's been done for the most part. When you ask your device a question, it sends the sound file, a company transcribes it and sends it back. That means your phone is listening to 100% of what you say and sending 100% of what you say somewhere else.
If it's off, I don't think it is, but I think it can still be listening to you. When
it's never off. Your phone's never off.
Powered down, I guess you should say.
Powered down is not off. It is always on.
Get a Faraday bag if you want.
I have one, actually. Literally, that's what I have with my fanny pack. There's a Faraday cage in here. It's by Mission Darkness.
That's why I'm saying, like, I think where we will end up in 10 years is they're never going to outright ban independent content. They're going to make it useless. The way that Mega Upload used to have all this pirated content, but now no one, effectively, it's just Mega doesn't exist anymore, even though Kim tried restarting it. Nobody uses this piracy stuff for the most part anymore, the way they used to in the 2000s, because they've made it useless. It's much easier just to go on Amazon.
So I could see a world of corporations A, B, and C owning global media, and then they release a virus, or they do some horrible malfeasant thing, and then they tell the world, you can't say this word. If you do, you'll lose your bank account. You'll be banned. So follow the plan. But then people will be on independent media on their phones, like revealing the truth, and they're going to be like, okay, if it's Apple phones, okay, we have to contact Apple to shut down their personal device. We have to block their local networks.
I can't remember who said this, what videos. Someone said that they thought COVID was a plan, but they released it early to stop Trump. I'm not saying it's true.
It was Aladdin with 2 L's and 2 D's
last week.
That's who. And so, right. Here's the idea. Donald Trump is not supposed to be president. They didn't think he was going to win. Hillary was going to win. The conspiracy theory is that COVID was being manufactured through gain-of-function research in Wuhan with the intent to release maybe at the end of the 2020s or early 2030s, when they had centralized control of media, when they have gotten rid of independent podcasts and these things no longer existed. Trump winning, however, and being the front runner, it blocked this because now they're unable to do heavy censorship. Trump as president has too much power and is helping promote a lot of these other voices that are counter to this. So the conspiracy theory, again, I'm not saying it's true, goes that in 2020, the powers that be said, release COVID now to stop Trump so we can get power back. The idea was it was supposed to be 10 years later. There would be no YouTube. There would be no Spotify. Those things would exist, don't get me wrong. But it would be curated and controlled because the government was going to start censoring the internet, allowing only certain people to have voices. Then the only thing anyone would ever hear on social media or major networks was get the vaccine and everything's okay.
I think that makes sense. I was just specking Klaus Schwab's book, COVID-19, The Great Reset, which he seemed to have been writing before COVID.
He had to have been writing before based on its release date.
And it was released, it was June of 2020.
Yeah.
So,
well, to be fair, I guess you could write in
maybe
months.
I want to know when he started on this book.
3 months.
Because the COVID didn't even get mentioned until like the end of December.
I was always curious why it was called.
Wait, he released it in 2019?
No, I'm trying to find. It says
It
2020.
was 2019.
Yeah, 3 months after the lockdown started.
But was he not working on this idea for?
Bro, they were manufacturing the coronavirus. We've known this for years.
Right.
Rand Paul did an interview, and it was years ago they admitted that they were funding gain-of-function research in Wuhan on coronavirus.
I like this conspiracy theory that Trump was the wrench in the gears of the liberal
Trump.
machine.
So here's the big conspiracy theory. The Russians did hack the 2016 election. They know, but they can't release the information because they were cheating. The conspiracy theory goes that Hillary Clinton and Obama and all of them and all the past presidents have manufactured the results of an election. The Russians hacked this system so that different results came out, whether it was legitimately Trump or otherwise. And that's why they all came out saying the Russians did this, but they couldn't release evidence because the evidence would show that they rigged the elections for the past several decades. And the Russians
stopped our plan, but we can't show you.
which is why they never came out with evidence, could never prove it. So again, conspiracy theory. Oh my God. The real plan was that Hillary Clinton would become president. You would have woke social justice stuff. Then, like mid-2020s, you'd get a COVID lockdown, but all mass media would have been rigid and controlled because during this time when Hillary Clinton is running, we know now because of these leaks that the FBI had backdoors into Twitter and Facebook to tell them what to remove and how to remove it. These lawsuits are actually still going on, by the way, like Alex Berenson. He's going to be coming on the show soon to discuss all of this stuff. Really excited to have him because I think he's still he's actually winning. Where would we be if Trump didn't win? They were manufacturing these viruses. Would the end result be it's 2026? COVID hits right now. All media is controlled. No one can speak out against the pharmaceutical companies or question anything. They were trying to do it, don't forget. But then Rumble pops up, was getting funding. They couldn't control that. So again, the conspiracy theory, I'm not saying it all adds up because it kind of doesn't.
Well, the corporate governance is a big one for me too that leads towards what you're talking about. The ESG, they call it environmental social governance, where they want to. What's that?
Is it environmental? Is it?
Yeah. ESG is environmental social governance. So they can be like, hey, you're not playing your role.
Yeah, I remember that.
For our company enough, so we're going to ban your bank account. Oh, you said a naughty word. We're going to ban your bank account. Like ESG's been around. I think the concept of moving from a national governance system of Earth to a corporate governance system is very real. Also, I feel like it might be inevitable. I don't know if nation states can hold on with the excessive globalization. So Elon, sort of with X, is trying to build a corporate government. It looks like, he's got the money with XPay. He's got the satellites in orbit so he can transmit and deliver his own data. He's got power plants. He has. So I'm down to like build a social a corporate governance, but like, because I used to be like, no, if we can reject corporate governance and just hold on to our American nation, but I think the world's kind of past that. Our Fourth Amendment's already trashed. So build a better corporate government. That's sort of where I'm at. Like, cut them off, beat them off at the pass. Cut them off at the pass. That's what I meant to say. Don't beat them. Don't beat them off. Anyway, that's where we're at. That's where we're at now.
So
Also, AOC
get rid of
won her election,
countries.
by the way.
Corporate government.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because like ideally, we have a government that's not really there. That's the whole communist ethos is, hey, get rid of the government. We'll just govern ourselves without a government. Honestly, we want small government. Most Americans, we built this country to have a smaller government.
Dan Goldman lost.
Yes.
Oh, these are the primary elections
Wow.
in New York?
Yeah. Wow, that's funny. Goodbye. Wow, that's interesting.
well.
That's very interesting. So kind of let's sorry to interrupt, but let's jump into this. Right now, the big news in the New York primaries is whether or not the commies are going to win. And so we're starting to get the results coming in right now. There's a lot of speculation that this is a referendum on the Democratic Party, with Zoran Mandani in New York being this, youth celebrity of utter ignorance, retardation, and tyranny. They love it, by the way, because they're not smart enough to understand any of it. But he's popular. And so the thinking is that if the incumbent Democrat establishment types lose to the socialists, we're going to see a big, big change coming to the Democratic Party institutionally as well as in November. But look at that. Claire Valdez is winning in the 7th district. She's a communist, I think.
Yeah.
Dan Goldman losing is funny. He was just complaining because he got kicked. What did they kicked him out of a cafe because he was a Jew?
Yeah, it was It was absurd. Yeah, he was complaining that he didn't get served at a coffee shop, and then I guess they tried to like take down the coffee shop's pages. It was super whiny and dumb.
Let me look this up.
But were people really expecting that the like anti-Mamdani backlash in the Democratic Party would happen within 6 months of him taking office? That's way too soon for reactionary politics. It takes way longer than that.
Yeah, and the destruction he writes might not take effect for 4 years after he leaves office.
Exactly.
Dude, New York is so cooked.
Oh, I know.
It's a foreign country at this point.
Well, it's like 50% foreign born, isn't it?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Let
It's
me
like-
look that up.
It really is primary for a technocracy. Like if we're going to set one up, that's the city it should get started in. I spy.
38%.
Yeah.
38%.
Foreign born.
Approximately 58% of the city's foreign-born population are naturalized U.S. citizens. Wow.
It is a foreign country.
We're going to have to conquer New York.
And then if you add in like second generation immigrants, that number is crazy.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy. So the New York Times has a write-up on this. As we get the results in, they say, blah, 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 blah. We're all committed to doing what's necessary to make life better for these people. I'm actually kind of excited for this, although I understand what everybody says. We often talk about like, oh, yeah, like when they vote for socialists, everything will get worse. It'll get worse and they'll learn their lesson, but they don't because socialists just lie and blame someone else.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is when the city burns down, they're going to blame Trump somehow. But I don't care. You know what I mean? Like,
Mamdani's already blaming Kathy Hochul for
everything. It's amazing.
yeah.
If they can fix the smell, even if it's a communist, if they can actually fix the air quality of New York City, that'd be something.
I think it's worse now because of the trash.
Claire Valdez has won.
The brake dust.
There was no incumbent, though, for the 7th District anyway, so congratulations. She's the commie, right, Claire Valdez?
How hardcore commie are they?
Yeah. Claire Valdez is backed by the DSA. It's known as the Commie Corridor.
Wow.
There you
So Communist has just won the primary, and she's in a district she's not going to lose. So she will be. We have another communist entering Congress. Oh boy, the Democratic Party is ripped in half at this point.
Yeah.
Guys, I wouldn't be surprised if like you get like a Tulsi, Tucker, Joe Kent in the anti-Israel wing of the Democratic Party.
Be freaking awesome.
Yep, Joy Reid and Tucker. You know what's really funny? I tweeted out, I never would have thought Joy Reid and Carlson would effectively be on the same side. And the people who hate Israel because they're retarded attacked me for posting it. In no way did the tweet disparage Tucker or Joy Reid. I literally, because Tucker said I'm quitting the Republicans because I support Israel, and Joy Reid said I'm quitting the Democrats because I support Israel. And then I just tweeted, I was like, I never thought I'd see them effectively on the same side. And the anti-Israel people just lost their minds as if I insulted their prophet or something. But it just goes to show that they're not rational people, and their arguments are not reasonable. You don't gotta like Israel, whatever, but this faction of online anti-Israel retardation is not legitimate sentiment. And I'm gonna say it again because I was talking about Clint Russell, but like a really good example is when Clint Russell had to fake my arguments about Israel in order to generate content and get clicks. So he just lied about what I actually argued because otherwise you can't actually get your grift going.
That's cheap. He's usually 100% spot on when he talks about stuff. Did he just not understand what you were saying?
No, he was willfully lying.
Wow, Clint. That's kind of.
So we invited him to come on the show.
Good.
And and then he claimed that, he's not been invited back on, which is weird because Clint has literally just shown up and walked in as a friend of the show and he can come whenever he wants. So that's what I see with all of these anti-Israel people. Not every single one of them. There's certainly a lot of people that we've known for a while that are critical of Israel, and you're always allowed to do that.
I think Dave Smith, I wouldn't call
Dave
him.
Smith's been great.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him anti-Israel. He's just.
Bro, are you
Pretty
joking?
anti-Israel.
He's just critical. He's like super critical.
Bro, he's anti-Israel.
I don't know.
I don't think he has any problem with you calling him anti-Israel.
Well, it seems like he actually has a reason to speak. Like he's pro-truth. And so part of that is he will expose corruption within the Israeli system but I don't think he's like out to get Israel or anything like that. Like he doesn't have an inherent bias against Israel. He's just wisdom. Like he knows what he's talking about.
I don't know if Dave thinks that the existence of Israel is immoral or not. Right? If you're anti-Israel, generally that's kind of people that are like, I don't think Israel should exist as an ethno-nation, right? An ethno-state, which is, people argue whether or not it is or not because there are Arabs that live there, but they're going to keep a permanent Jewish majority in Israel. it exists for a place for Jews to go if they need to.
Oh, bro, the DSA is winning. Sorry, man.
Oh, yeah.
So wild.
Daria Liza is currently leading against Adriano Espaillat. She's the DSA-backed candidate with 62% in it, seeming like she's going to win.
These are a bunch of. Oh, these are Mamdani candidate people that.
Daria Liza, the DSA-backed candidate. Claire Valdez is the DSA-backed candidate. So we're looking. What were you saying, Phil?
Bad news. I just don't know that. I don't know if Dave considers himself against the existence of Israel or not. But
you get into even more delineations though, because it's like, well, there's a difference between, do you support like Israel's existence to be moral, or do you think it's like they have a right to exist? Because I know Tucker got into that debate with that New York Times reporter about what does it mean that they have a right to exist.
Real quick, Lander is also the de facto. He's not endorsed by the DSA, but he's heavily supported by Mamdani and DSA members.
Yeah.
So the socialists are sweeping New York.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
But anyway, to the point of Dave, Dave's got opinions. He's always allowed to have them, and agree, disagree. You know, he's fine. Dave's never misrepresented me in any way. He's been critical of me, and that's okay. And I've been critical of him sometimes, but I consider him a friend, and I consider him to be honest. And he's allowed to have the opinions he does have.
I sort of align. Well, I can't speak for what his mindset is, but I'd rather know how corrupt it is and look at it in the face and acknowledge it, but not. I don't.
What is it?
The Israeli
corrupt?
state, the situation between the Israeli government, the U.S. government, the crimes that either states have committed. Like I understand brutal transparency sometimes can be a bad thing. Like if an asteroid's coming, you don't necessarily tell the whole population because they might explode in a riot. But I think I err on like the side of like just expose the dirty laundry, dude. But then the other part of me is like, well, I understand the military war machine wants to seize control of the Suez Canal with an iron fist. And if you start exposing all the corruption there, people might resist it, and then the Chinese will come in and buy it and take it over, and then the Israelis will side with the Chinese, and that could be very bad.
I mean, I feel like if Israel wanted to keep the Suez Canal, they would have kept the Sinai, right?
I don't know.
Well, that goes back a long time
complicated
ago.
it gets.
They had the Sinai in the 70s, wasn't it? Weren't they in control of the Sinai?
They took it during a war and then gave it back as part of like a war.
Yeah, I mean,
if
they were after keeping control of the canal, wouldn't they have just been like, well, we're not giving it back?
It's less, I think, now that they have ballistics, they can hit the canal from the homeland, so they don't need like the territory itself. They just need to be right near it.
Yeah, I mean,
the USS Liberty was in the Mediterranean, you know.
Yeah,
they hit that one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I as for Dave or his perspective on Israel, I don't know. I do know that it is extremely popular on the right, particularly with libertarians, to be anti-Israel. And I personally think that there are people that are anti-Israel that are genuine, but I think overall it's just a psyop to split the right and to attempt to split the right and actually make it more likely for Democrats to win. Personally,
what do you think is the difference between like anti-Israel and an America First approach to Israel?
I think that, well, I mean, if you're an America First person, I feel like Israel is kind of a tertiary topic.
Well, because that's where I see most of the sentiment on the right coming from is more from an America First perspective. I mean, the libertarians were sort of in the camp prior. I think they've been in that camp longer. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the new right and the America First conservatives that are the new joiners to the party of, we have questions about foreign spending and support of Israel.
Yeah. I'm kind of an end foreign policy guy. I'm sorry, not end foreign policy, end foreign aid kind of dude. Like the U.S. shouldn't be just giving out money. I do understand the arguments for it. I do understand that the more dollars that are out there, the more people that have dollars, that actually helps prop up the dollar, because people want, if you give them money, they want that money to be valuable, so they're going to see a value in the dollar. But I don't think that you should try and buy friends. As for like the arguments about dual citizenship, I don't think anybody that has dual citizenship should be elected to office. I don't even think that first generation, the military either. I don't think that any first generation immigrants should be allowed in the federal government.
Agreed.
You know,
in government, period, local or otherwise.
Yeah, when I hear people talking about birthright citizenship and like it would be, what would we do about dual citizenship? I'm like, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Or are you guys
Problem
excited?
solved.
They
Shake it up
may
the pot.
rule on birthright citizenship
I'm
on
super
Thursday.
excited about that.
I was hoping it was going to be today, and then we got, like, they know what they're doing.
I think we're gonna lose though. Well, I don't know.
think
what
so?
the
I don't
odds
know.
are.
I do.
That we might get a narrow ruling slightly favorable.
I don't know.
I mean, I hope.
Well, based on the order of opinions that have been coming down, usually they try to kind of spread them out across the justices.
Right.
I don't know that we've had one from Roberts yet, which does not bode well. Yeah.
Can we, it'd be great if like they're just like, this season every single opinion is coming from Clarence Thomas. We'd all just be
Or
like,
Alito.
how many bottles of champagne will we need? Or Alito. The only two real justices.
Would this case that they're seeing decide if they were to rule? I don't know the exact ruling, what they're looking at ruling over.
What if like Kagan is just like no birthright citizenship for
That'd
anybody?
be so wild.
Would it,
Unanimous.
would it undo people that have already received birthright citizenship?
No, they would be grandfathered in. It would be for all future anchor babies.
I want to jump to the story. This is important. Some Rolling Stone. Lizzo's new album didn't even chart what happened. It sold just 2,650 copies. I have a conspiracy theory for you. Actually, Billy Corgan has a conspiracy theory for you. Billy Corgan thinks MTV and the CIA may have colluded to torpedo rock and roll. About that, rock was alive and well in the late 90s. Maybe Corgan was just didn't like what he heard. Billy Corgan's point when the story broke, he did an interview, was that rock was certainly dialed down at a certain point and rap skyrocketed. Surprise, surprise. Hey, Carter, did you notice something weird about this past year after USAID was gone? Rap fell off for the first time. What was it for the first time? Like rap wasn't on the top 40 or something like that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Wow, and Jesse Wells went on.
It was big news. Country took over.
Yeah.
And it was like for the first time there wasn't rock in the top 10 or top 4. I'm sorry, rap. And do you guys know what song was the very last Billboard #1 Hot 100 in rock?
Oh, that's a great
I think
question.
I
Can
do.
you give us a hint?
I think you already know,
Can you tell us
so
what
we
year it
talked about
was?
What's up?
What year was it?
I think it was 2001 or 2.
Was it a Nickelback song?
It was.
Was it How You Remind Me?
It was.
Let's go.
The very last rock song to hit #1, and it held it for like 13 weeks or some insane number. That song was so massively popular. And then for some reason, and this one really pissed me off, there was a guy it was like a Rahm Emanuel or Obama rally. I think it was some rally where was holding up a sign saying Rahm Emanuel likes Nickelback. And then for literally no reason, because liberals are idiots, they were like, yeah, Nickelback is bad. And I'm like, Nickelback was charting for 13 weeks in a row. They're clearly very popular. It's not my kind of music. Shout out to Nickelback for their cover of Devil Went Down to Georgia, which was absolutely amazing. It's not really my music, but I can recognize like there's a lot of music I don't like that I know is really Britney Spears music. Yeah, of course it's popular.
This article, that tagline where it says rock was alive and well in the late 90s. No, rock was alive, but it was not well in the late 90s.
It was dying.
It was dying. And
the beginning of the end.
in the beginning of the end was Linkin Park. Linkin Park appeared and it was not good rock and roll, and it was like rap. And that's how they fused it, and they got everybody
good
to
point,
they called
actually.
it new metal.
Yeah.
And you.
That's true.
Yeah.
They hybridized rock and rap
Yeah.
and then shifted people towards
There's
rap.
also a
Well, then
weird.
But I
Britney
love
started
Linkin
with
Park, by the
Aerosmith
way.
and Run DMC.
So Linkin Park, they had two
They
great
kinda
albums.
did mainstream like unclean vocals. Phil, do you agree with that kind of?
What?
Didn't Linkin Park?
And the
It's like
beat
you
drop.
wouldn't hear screaming on like top 40 radio until Linkin Park came around, and then it's like, well, that's kind of.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. To me, like, Chester was a great vocalist, but he didn't have. He didn't actually do screaming.
No, I agree
It's a
with you.
conspiracy, dude. 8 months ago, no rap songs are in the Billboard Hot 100 Top 40 for the first time since 1990.
Whoa.
Yeah, guys, explain. So all these concerts are getting canceled, right? We were talking about this a few months ago. They're calling like Blue Dot something or whatever. They're like, oh, it's just too expensive.
Blue Dot Fever.
Blue Dot Fever. But a bunch of mainstream artists are just not selling tickets.
Yep.
Lizzo launched an album, only sold 2,650 copies. How is that possible? And what happened? Guys, just explain it to me. Tell me, conspiracy, throw it out the window. Just give me the logical explanation to how. Donald Trump gets elected, and something happened in the last year and a half that fundamentally altered our music culture to where, like, Katy Perry and other pop stars aren't selling anymore. She's getting no views on YouTube. Rap songs are not in the top 40 for the first time since 1990. What, rap just stopped being popular all of a sudden for no reason? This is weird. Very, very weird. My conspiracy theory, I agree with Billy Corgan, because rock is American tradition, and I think they were intentionally destroying it because they were trying to shift us into world music, global music garbage.
A lot of that rock and roll was counterculture too. Like if you want to control the world, you don't want people countering your culture that you're trying to control.
Yeah.
So, like,
And the messages in rap became mainstream culture. Is all woke.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia Rodrigo has, I think,
police,
Olivia Rodrigo has 3 songs in the top 10 right now.
And she's like, what, like
racism,
pop punk or
terror,
something?
She's pop.
I mean,
Taylor Swift is number 1 from the Toy Story.
It's all fake, by the way.
Ella
It's all
Langley.
fake.
yeah, Billboard charts are-
Ella Langley has 2.
The Billboard
Drake
charts
has
are
one.
fake, just so everybody knows.
So it's like the Oscars. They're manufactured.
I'm sorry.
chosen.
Olivia Rodrigo has 4.
Probably more. Did you go all the way down to the bottom?
Well, in the top 10.
She's released an album or something.
So here's the important thing to understand. Streaming platforms have playlists. Radio stations have playlists. You can't pay to play. That's illegal. It's called payola. Although on streaming platforms, it may be different. And the reason why songs are in the top of the charts is because streaming platforms default them. When I get in my Tesla and you put on like today's hits, the major labels do deals where they're like, these are the songs you will play.
Yep.
And then they say, wow, look how well this song is doing. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You have instant access to 10 million downloads like that. How is any independent artist ever supposed to compete with that? It's not real.
yeah, it used to be a DJ liked your song, so he'd play it locally in New York in a small town, or people would
Or
call
how
and
about-
request the song at the radio station, and that's how the numbers charted.
Or how about Pearl Jam puts out an album and everybody goes bonkers over it and loves it. And they love it so much that a small radio station finds a B-side that was released in, I think, the UK and says, we can play this now because people love Pearl Jam. And it was Yellow Ledbetter. And that was a song that wasn't on their album. It went massively viral. Every radio station had to have it. And they were like, we better do a release of this. That was organic. That was real. Or how about The Offspring, who suck, by the way, but back in the day, they are still the band with the record for the most albums sold independently, as an independent band. And that was Smash back in the day, when there was still an opportunity to go viral and have real success. And I'll tell you, because me and Carter know this personally, that when we launched a song and sold something like 30,000, 40,000 singles in 1 week, we didn't even chart. They intentionally kept us off because it was all rigged the whole time. Hey, Carter, maybe we can chart now.
We got more than Lizzo just on iTunes before we got screwed, but yeah, maybe we could chart it.
The era of Max Martin writing a bunch of songs for like Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, and NSYNC. I think Max Martin wrote all their stuff.
A lot of stuff for him.
And the era that was like the Link. It was 1998. Linkin Park, Korn, like these rap
Korn
metal.
came out in like 1993.
They were before. Yeah,
Korn was-
they had a hit song in 98, a really good one.
They had a bunch of them.
Yeah, they had
They had Adidas. They had Freaking Leash.
But they actually created
Away
the,
from me.
the genre new metal.
Me Bad.
They created a new genre.
Got the Life.
Brian, Got the Life is the one I was thinking of. That's
Yeah.
fucking incredible. But that era, that was the flex. That was the moment. 1998 was like where it was just like a hyper digital.
I think there was a conspiracy. I agree with Billy Corgan. He was there. They had Melancholy, which is one of the greatest albums ever produced, a double album. How many songs were on it? Like 20 something.
I don't know.
A masterpiece with some of the best songs ever that are still played to this day in movies. And my question that I asked a while ago is, I was watching that dumb movie with What's Her Face and What's His Face, where the robots are all over the place and have their own robot city.
No, that's
Chris Pratt.
28 songs was not Melancholy.
28.
Yeah.
a beast.
It's Chris
Came out in
Pratt
95.
and that chick who was the retarded psychic from Stranger Things.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, her. And they were playing like AC/DC in it. And then I'm like, it's really weird. And why is it that it's 40-year-old music they're using as the backing track to this movie? And it's because they know you can only lie on the charts. But when it comes to actually trying to use music as a promotional material for a movie, you need to give people music that they actually like. And if they played like, what is that, Old Country Road or whatever song by Lil Nas X, is that what it's called?
Town Road, yeah.
Old Town Road?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be like, oh, yeah, I love this song. Let's go. But it was like the longest charting song ever. Fake, all fake. And then what does he do? Lil Nas X blows the devil. I'm not even joking.
True.
Part of the reason why it was the longest charting song ever is because a lot of kids loved it. Like there were young
I don't believe that.
kids. No, you don't think so?
I do not believe it for a second. When you tell me how Trump gets elected, shuts down USAID, and then all of a sudden rap evaporates off of the top 40.
So awful.
Literally gone.
Well, I mean,
And Lizzo can't sell more than a couple thousand albums. Tell me how that
I don't know
happens.
that actually means that Old Town Road wasn't listened to by children.
No.
Old Town Road.
No. You said it did well because children liked it. I don't believe they liked it. That doesn't mean it wasn't played for them. So if Spotify defaults Taylor Swift for every single 14-year-old, of course you are going to have a high density of 14-year-olds who will like the song and hear it, but it's not being promoted because they like it. It's being promoted to them for a psychological reason.
How much do you think record labels pay to get that banner at the very top of the homepage in Spotify when a new album is released?
A lot.
No.
No?
That's got to be a lot of money.
I don't know. I know it's like $100,000 to get a song to go number one at rock radio, at least.
100
How-
grand. But what do they do to make that happen?
They just play it a lot.
Yeah, but you can't pay radio stations to play music. It's illegal. It's called payola.
Yeah.
It was banned a long time
It is
ago.
illegal, but it still happens.
But they don't do it that way. What they'll say is, hey, you really want... So they'll say to like Spotify, you want Taylor Swift new songs, you have to put this artist in rotation as well. And they agree. Yep.
Gee, I remember when like Apple iTunes just came with what is U2? Like the whole U2 album.
Yep.
Just like you couldn't even get it off your phone. I
Yeah,
wonder
that's
if that
horrible.
just kept
Everyone complained
I
about
still
it.
can't get it off my phone. It's still on it. That's why I don't use Apple Music, because every time I hit
Yeah.
shuffle,
Still have U2.
damn U2 song comes on.
That was cleverly done.
Man, their early stuff was good.
But I'm going to say it again. I think it was a conspiracy. I'll tell you this: when Carter and I put out a bunch of music, they did everything in their power to stop us from charting. And the same thing for Tom McDonald, who has hit after hit after hit, and somehow barely ever charts, because they're actively trying to stop counterculture from pushing back against their cringe woke global machine.
And then Jesse Wells. I don't know if you guys follow Jesse Wells. Fantastic new
he's really
musician. About a year and a half he's been at it on Instagram. But he's now skyrocketed to worldwide fame. And they had him on the Tonight Show. Stephen Colbert had him on. And I'm like, is he? Because he's singing about counterculture, like the war machine and all the fascists getting together with all the religion. I don't know what the lines are. Great music. But are they want to get him, and they want to get him in so that so he doesn't counter the cultural narrative. But I don't know, man. So like,
I think rock's going to become mainstream again.
I agree.
Knocked Loose was just on. Was it Jimmy Fallon or was it Jimmy Kimmel? Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Because rock is American music, and now that the fake machine that was crushing American culture and tradition has been destroyed. I don't know if USAID was actually doing all these things or if they're just the boogeyman, but I got to tell you, very, very weird that upon the crushing of it, rap evaporated.
I got a question for you guys. Can you have rock and roll if it's just one guy?
What do you mean?
Can you do, or does it have to be a band? Like, as part of rock and roll, does that indicate that
be one
it's a
guy.
band?
You could be
Like one guy with a guitar. Can he possibly make a rock song if it's just
what are you
one
talking
guy?
about? Of course.
I did it.
Singer songwriter.
I got one out right now. You can go get it at
You played other instruments on it.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't play it all
you
live,
simulated
but-
the band.
I
Yeah,
think we just
technically.
called that soft rock, didn't we?
No, I mean,
rock and
it
roll.
doesn't
No,
matter what
like
kind.
a solo artist can like Dave Grohl recorded everything for the first Foo
But
Fighters
he's
album.
saying just a guy with a guitar.
Yeah, our old guitar
Yes,
player.
but like I wrote a bunch of songs. I could play it on my acoustic. It doesn't change what it is.
Our old
I'm a
guitar
guy with a
player,
song.
our old guitar player Jason Richardson went out on tour by himself with him and a computer, and like the computer played the bass, drums, and the backing guitar tracks, and he played all the lead stuff. And he was opening for
No,
Baby Metal.
I
in front
totally
of,
agree
like,
with what you're saying. I think what
10,000
Ian is
people a
saying,
night.
though, is like if it's just the guy playing the guitar.
It's
it
just a
doesn't
guy and
count
a
as
guitar
rock.
on
Like,
stage, no accompaniment. Is because the roll, does that come from the drum? Like I'm wondering. I can't. When I think of rock and roll, I think of bands. I think of a group of people working together. Which is a big part of the
you don't
American
need to
dream.
have a full band to play rock and roll.
You could also hire people just to be your full band.
Exactly. You could have a
to go on
studio
tour
group
with you.
But can
Yeah.
you be a guy with a guitar and be considered rock and roll? I don't know.
Why not?
Drums? Because I feel like the drums is a big part of what makes it roll.
No, it's you can definitely do that.
All right, we're gonna go to the Rumble rants and super chats. Get what you guys got to say in here during this show. But don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you're listening on the audio podcast, leave us a good review. Give us 5 stars. Word of mouth really helps. They're closing. The walls are closing in. They're trying to shut down independent media spaces. So now more than ever, if you guys think that we do a good enough job, word of mouth is the most powerful thing. But who knows what's to come? Now, before we get your Rumble rants, we got a great sponsor. It's the Rumble Wallet. Guys, go to wallet.rumble.com/TimcastIRL. Shout out to Rumble. Quick question. How much control do you have over your money right now? Technology has changed everything, and now it's changing how money works. Crypto started as a niche, but now it's going mainstream. Faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen. It's not hype. It's just where things are going. And getting started today is easier than you think. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin, hold dollar-backed stable coins, even own digital gold backed by real gold, all in one place. It's a non-custodial crypto wallet, which means you, not a bank or a platform, control access to your funds. Setup is simple. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your debit card, credit card, or bank account and be up and running in minutes. You can even use your Rumble Wallet to support your favorite Rumble creators, like me, directly. Take control of your money now. Scan the QR code, click the link in the description, or go to wallet.rumble.com/TimcastIRL and get started with Rumble Wallet today. Guys, take control of your own funds and finance. I'm not saying, put all your eggs in one basket. I'm just saying the thing I like about Rumble Wallet is that I got bank accounts, of course, and then I've got crypto wallets like Rumble Wallet so I can keep my crypto isolated and in my own personal control. You can't get banned from this app. They can't shut you down or take away your access to your own money. Let's grab your guys' Rumble rants and super chats. And let's see. Somebody said that Dave Grohl is a slur.
What?
We'll have to talk about that in the uncensored portion of the show. Thinker of Our Life says David Wilcock called Gaia evil. Anything that leads you away from Christ is an enticing deception. Well, he's certainly allowed to have his opinion and all that. I like Gaia. I think Gaia is fun. Guys, I'm just going to say this. My thoughts are, if you think that a Gaia documentary on like spirituality can make you question your faith, I think you actually should watch it, because how strong is your faith if, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My attitude is like, you should, first of all, Bannon was saying, watch MS Now to know what they're saying. You're not at all interested to see what they're thinking about certain things. And not all of it is religious, talking about ancient civilizations and technologies.
I mean, if a new piece of information makes you question your faith probably wasn't that good to begin with.
Yeah.
And I would argue that most of you, like, why your faith should be able to withstand whatever these questions are. You shouldn't be like, I'm not going to watch that because then I might question my faith. What? Sounds like you're already questioning your faith.
Also, I think that this technology, the revolutions in radio telescopes, is helping us better understand what God is. So a lot of times these things work together.
I like Michael Knowles. He says God is the Logos. Michael Knowles is a very smart man.
He's a very smart.
Love talking to that guy about religion.
There's both the low and the ghosts.
He must have sold like 1 billion copies of that Speechless book. It's like a meme on this show for 2 years.
Oh,
He came back a year later and it was like still there. It's like he's still selling books.
Was it again like, Speechless, like Michael Knowles' book?
Yeah, it's left me speechless, like the book.
Yeah.
From Michael Knowles. I think I wonder how happy the Daily Wire guys were when they were like, it's become a meme on Tim Pool's show to super chat Michael Knowles' book. Man.
Promotion.
What do we got here? Mythos says that judge is a dual citizen from Trinidad and Tobago. A tri-citizen? Because Trinidad and Tobago? I'm kidding, by the way. She lied to the Senate during her confirmation, claiming she would renounce her dual citizenship before assuming judgeship. She should be put in jail.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Jail. Right to jail.
HS Disturbed says, my own Christian experience with forgiveness means to give all of the anger and resentment I have for someone to God. My attitude is like, I skateboard, been skateboarding for most of my life. What am I going, 27 some odd years or something. And sometimes you get a shinner. You'll try to go for a trick and the board will whack you as hard as possible in the shin. When I was a kid and it happened, I'd go down and start rubbing it, going, oh, like, oh, it hurts. Now I kind of just go, like, there's pain, I guess. It's like boring to me at this point. I remember being a kid and like sitting down and rubbing it, which didn't help, and groaning, which didn't help. And so now that I'm old, I get hit in the shin. I'm just like, yeah. Like, it takes more energy to complain about getting hit in the shin than just ignore it.
Yeah, dude. Misery doesn't make pain hurt less.
It just wastes more energy, and I'm bored with it. So I'm just sitting there being like, yeah, my shin hurts, but like,
I was watching this. There's this guy that served in Vietnam. He was a pilot, got captured, and was a POW. And there's one guy that would torture him every night, every day, in like just the most heinous. And he was like a great, forgiving guy. But as soon as he would think about that one torturer, his face would change and like maybe there are things that are unforgivable. Like he was like, the things I would do to that man. You have like that one guy that took so much joy in hurting me many days.
But you know, the thing about torture is that it's ineffective because anticipation of torture is effective. When people adapt to their circumstances, so torture is going to make someone say whatever you want them to say, and you're not going to get any genuine information out of them. And then eventually, depending on the torture, obviously some of it's merciless, but people become accustomed and just give up hope. And so the most effective thing you can do is make someone fear the torture, but then you want them to give you a morsel. So if like in the movies, they're like, tell us where you hid the device, and they're like going to cut the finger off, and it goes like, ah. It's like, well, once you cut their finger off, they don't have that finger's gone, and now they're resigned, and they're going to be depressed, and they're going to be like, my finger's gone forever. Yeah, like you can't threaten them with that anymore.
This guy was just getting beat. I don't even think they wanted anything out of it. The guy would come in, he would just beat him up and have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
And like,
so the effective thing is
someone like that.
Threatening someone with torture, demanding an answer, but if they're not going to give it to you, ask them for something small and easy that they will give up. And so if you're like, where's the device? And they're like, I'll never tell you. And then you just say like, who was the last person you were talking with? And then they might be like, my boss. And then you stop and you don't cut their finger off and you leave, right? What happens then is the fear of the torture is more effective than the torture, and you've gotten them to capitulate. You do that incrementally, and that's what we saw with China, and we see with more effective means of torture. In fact, one of the most effective ways of extracting information is not to torture at all, but to give gifts. Give gifts. Yeah.
Diabolical.
Famously, they would let POWs walk around, come and go as they please. They couldn't leave the camp. They were prisoners, but they had food readily available, and they treated them like friends. And they said, we hate to keep you here, but it's war. We don't want to mistreat you. We want you to be comfortable. So just, you're here for the time being. We can't have you leaving and fighting us. And then people would go comfortable. They'd hang out and smoke cigarettes with their captors. And they would just ask them best questions. Like, so what's it like in America? Like, what do you do? You know? And then eventually these guys are just spilling the beans on everything because they were just hanging out and with the boys, you know? Sometimes that's way more effective. They don't even realize it. They're like, in those storytelling, they talk about their good friends, and now all of a sudden the bad guy knows that they came here with 4 people, they were stationed in this place, and they gave him everything. All right, what do we got here? El Jefe Lopez says, why can't the cops just shoot them and say, I thought it was the person that threw the Molotov? Same logic can be used the other way, right? Police don't use lethal force against rioters, even when they're armed with lethal force. Cities are ineffective. Could you imagine what this country would be like if when Antifa showed up with bricks and raised a brick or a rock, a cop just shot him in the face? Ain't nobody would be throwing rocks at anybody. But we don't live in that country.
No, that'd be rough because an agitator could come to a riot, feign violence, and then the cops might just start attacking the entire
I said
crowd.
When a cop shoots the person holding the rock.
But
I didn't say when a cop sprays a crowd randomly.
No, but it could lead to who threw that rock? It was you, wasn't it? You know.
I didn't say what if cops were spraying a random group of protesters. I said imagine what the country would be like if the cops shot a guy about to throw a brick.
But he was talking about that, though. Yeah.
I was imagining it and how that could lead to cops shooting into crowds.
It could also lead to cops running away frantic. It could also lead to protesters throwing.
It could lead to robot cops that have 100% accuracy.
Indeed. So that's not. There's no reason to bring it up. It could lead to a giant hand of God coming down from the sky, and lifting up the Antifa guy by the scruff of his neck, and then flinging him into the distance.
Yeah, it could do that.
Sure. All right. What do we got here? Omega Resetsu says, Tim Pool, you have it backwards. Capital letters are the standard. Minuscule lowercase were invented in the Middle Ages as a result of cursive writing. Classical Latin was written in uppercase. No, I don't. The point was, in the printing press, capital letters were in the uppercase. I didn't say that they did or did not invent the letters. Capital letters were in the uppercase and letters were in the lowercase. I see what you're saying. That the letters in the uppercase were the ones we call capital letters and the lowercase were kept below. Okay, okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Lowercase got
I can see that.
invented later. That's what he's saying.
That you're saying that the uppercase was just regular letters.
That's pretty cool.
And they had a lowercase for cursive. Disgruntled Vet says, did you all see Tom McDonald's new video?
No.
I did, in fact. I did. It was fun.
Music video?
Yeah. Was that the one about dirty white boys living your white boy dream?
I heard someone saying that it was, someone complaining that it was super racist.
Well, it was like white boys remember who you are.
Oh,
He's like
yeah.
riding around in a truck or something.
That's racist.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Why don't you like that?
I just
No
want
white boy summer.
I don't like thinking about my skin color. It's weird.
Well, other people are thinking about it. So
What people don't realize is that Ian is actually born black, but he had vitiligo, and
Been
then
a lifelong problem.
what happened is he's been using cream to try and cover up. But one day he was doing a performance with his brothers when a light burst and set his hair on fire, burning him, and then he had to get a treatment which lightened his skin completely.
Yeah.
He also invented the moonwalk.
I think that's. I was just.
And anti-gravity shoes.
I saw that movie Michael, and I didn't like it
Really?
no,
because. So what happens is in the movie, Michael's like he wants to do a solo album, and Joe Jackson is like talking to the agents, and he's like, whatever's good for Michael is good for me, so long as he's here to record with the Jackson 5, he can do whatever he wants at midnight on a Thursday. And they're like, okay. And then once he's got a big hit, they're like, he goes, the first thing I want to do is like fire my dad. He's like, fire my dad. And then the guy's like, how would you like me to do it? He goes, quickly. And they sent a fax to Joe Jackson. He's like, how could he fire me? Oh, I'm so angry. And then I looked it up, and it was like each of the Jacksons, the Jackson 5, attempted a solo career at the direction of their father, who was trying to help them maximize. And Michael was the only one who saw tremendous success. The Jacksons continue to perform to this day. And it was like, I'm like, was it acrimonious? I don't know, because when I looked it up, it didn't sound like it was. Maybe it was some contention over business stuff. But again, the Jacksons never stopped performing. They had a ton of hits. They got a Hollywood. They were big. They weren't Michael Jackson big. They were initially with the Jackson 5. The Michael became the megastar, the biggest star on the planet. But the Jacksons were still massive. And they were doing a reunion thing for Pepsi as part of this big deal when the Pepsi light burst onto Michael and set his hair on fire. Yeah. And then the movie ends in like 1986.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, he's like
that was
he's
when
singing,
he started to get weird, I guess.
I think he's singing "I'm Bad" or whatever. I'm bad. And then it shows this big stadium, and then it's like his story continues, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. He's dead.
His story got weird after that. His skin got really light.
Leaving it up
His
to
nose got really
kids.
thin, and he didn't look like the same person anymore. And then he
married
had a bunch of kids, and some of them were white.
Yeah.
Dang, what a weird.
He got accused of impropriety.
He was so cool in the 80s, man. That was it. Really,
Thriller,
it's
dude.
It's a really, really
Thriller's a
sad
masterpiece.
story, Michael Jackson, in a lot of ways. Because you want to remember him for his greatness and his music, but like he got probably twisted by his abusive father, beating him up for 20 years when he was a little kid. And then
Let's grab one more chat before we go to the uncensored portion. Marty Smith fan says, I unsubscribed and resubbed just now because I'm not getting any IRL notifications. What is going on? I get all others. Anyone else? This has been the case for the history of the show. This show only exists because you guys share it and come on a regularly scheduled basis. That's it. They have censored us and tried to block us and shut us down forever. They hate us. They don't like us. But we always have just played by the rules. And even then, playing by the rules, they still found fake reasons to ban certain episodes. And so, yeah, the one thing they can do is guarantee you never get a notification to hope that people's routines change and they stop watching the show. And I'll tell you why. It's because we are anti-establishment. And I say things like, the rumor in the Beltway is that Tulsi is going to resign. And then sure enough, she ends up resigning 2 months later. Like things like that. Like even the Trump admin gets mad at me quite a bit. So it is what it is. They would much prefer in the future with big networks like, be it HBO, Paramount, Peacock, whatever. They're going to have podcasts where the hosts are just like, whatever you tell me to say, boss. That's it. So we'll see how long it lasts. Smash the like button, share the show and all that good stuff. The uncensored portion's coming up at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. Follow me on Instagram and X at Timcast. Amber, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, check out dailycaller.com. Also our Substack, stateoftheday.us. And I'm on X and Instagram at Amber Marie Duke.
follow me at Ian Crossland on YouTube, Twitch, X, and Instagram. At Ian Crossland, follow me, subscribe. I'm going to go live periodically on YouTube and Twitch. So follow me at Ian Crossland. See ya.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. You can check out the band's music at Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, YouTube, Spotify, and Deezer. Don't forget, the left lane is for crime.
I'm at Carter Banks on X and at Carter Banks Official on Instagram. Got a song out now, and it's charting week. Still 2 days left. You can scan this QR code here or go to aliveordeadsong.com. Video is going to come out tonight at Trash House Records on YouTube, and so go check that out.
And he's got to get 2,700 to beat Lizzo.
Just need 2,700 to beat Lizzo.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see you at rumble.com/TimcastIRL right now. Thanks for hanging out.